It's Gotham Day at the Big A with Derby Dreams on the line, where trainer Chad Brown is ready to see if Iron Honor is ready for roses. He couldn't have been more impressive in his debut, but now comes Stakes Company and more distance. Trainer Brittany Russell has been dominant in Maryland. Now she comes to New York with a puncher's chance with Stakes winner Balboa, the most battle-tested of anyone in the field. We'll also have live coverage from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Hall of Fame trainer Steve Asmussen is hoping he is a true contender in the Classic division as multiple graded stakes winner Magnitude makes his 4-year-old debut, fresh off his Clark win against older horses to end his 3-year-old campaign. That and more coming up on a special Saturday of action here on America's Day at the Races. Live look here at Aqueduct Racetrack, New York City's racetrack in South Ozone Park, New York, for the final Gotham to be run here at the Big A. I'm Greg Wolf. Good to be with you on Fox Business Channel as you join us here on America's Day at the Races and the road to this year's Kentucky Derby. The Gotham Stakes, 50 points to the winner to get into the starting gate for this year's Kentucky Derby, and we will see if Iron Honor is for real. Just one start to his credit for trainer Chad Brown, but it was very, very good. Now comes, of course, Graded Stakes Company, a Derby prep, and more ground with this one-turn mile. 6 to 5 on the morning line for start number 2 in the 3-year-old debut. For Iron Honor, Manny Franco will ride for the 5-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer. With me, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, champion handicapper Jonathan Kinchin. How good do we think Iron Honor is?
I don't know. You know, it's a great question, and you got to find out more. His debut was extremely good. I know some people have some reservations with Chad Brown's numbers, second-time starters, 3-year-olds, dirt stake. The numbers aren't that bad. For winners, you've had a lot of horses run well, and in fact, he's run very well in the Gotham. He did it. Garamond ran a good third last year. Crowded Trade lost a photo in this race. Cloud Computing, who won the Preakness, came back in his second start and ran in this race. So just because they haven't won doesn't mean they've run well. And I tell you what, he runs back to this race, they're all running for second.
Well, I think if you dig down to that stat, when you win a lot of races with first-time starters, then you end up having to go to tougher spots, and sometimes that happens. I was very impressed with his performance. I think he wants to go longer. I think if you look at the way that he ran this race, he's going to appreciate a little bit more ground, and if he does that, he's going to be extremely tough to beat.
Light on experience, but based off that debut, big on talent. We'll see what we get from Iron Honor here in start number 2 for his 3-year-old debut, coming up at 5:18 Eastern Time. Some other big-name trainers in this edition of the Gotham. Safi Joseph Jr. sending out Hammond, named after the legendary broadcaster. Has been on our program before. For more on that one, we go to Acacia Clement.
That's right, Greg. Named in honor of the one and only Tom Hammond, his equine version. We saw effective down at Gulfstream Park, winning and running all of his 4 starts in Florida thus far, and then stepping up to try Stakes Company for the first time in the Swale last time out, or I guess a bit tougher. He did win that juvenile sprint 2 starts back when going 6.5 furlongs after breaking his maiden on a wet track prior to that. But he's a horse that's shown a little bit of versatility, being able to sit up a little bit closer. Now, he was a little bit antsy in the gate last time out. He had his head turned. He did not get out that quickly. And Safi Joseph had said that given the poor break and given how good his stablemate Solitude Jude is, who won that Swale and was able to wire the field, he thought it was a good effort and a confidence-building race that gave them the inclination that he might be able to handle a little bit more ground, like the 1 mile of the Gotham today, and to step up into some tough waters and try to pick up some Kentucky Derby points. So Hammond, a little bit of an interesting new face. We'll see if he gets out of the gate better today. He is a stakes winner. They're going shorter, but definitely one that has some upside coming in from South Florida, Greg.
He does indeed. 5 to 1 morning line for Hammond. Also, big race in the feature later today. That's the older horse division out in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where we head next. The Grade 3 Razorback, one of the horses, guys, we expected to be one of the top older horses in the year coming in here. That, of course, Magnitude, and then a new face who's come out of nowhere and knew what's new as we set it out to Lafitte and Mig.
Yeah, Greg, here it's one of those weekends at Oaklawn. You circle on the calendar. It's Rebel Stakes weekend. We'll have much more on tomorrow's Rebel Stakes throughout the course of the broadcast. But Richie, today's Razorback, aside from the $500,000 purse, what makes this year's edition so significant?
Well, you've got a horse like New What's New is trying to throw his hat into the ring as far as being in this older horse division. We know he has talent. He has speed. He's back-to-back triple-digit buyer figures. but he's not going to get any easy rides. You know, it's like boxers. All boxers can throw a punch. Not all boxers can take a punch. We'll learn more about him today. And then, of course, you know, magnitude. His Clark, you know, was very good from just off the pace. Previously to that, he was rallied to be second to Baeza in the Pennsylvania Derby. And his form, and I'm not saying he's gun runner, so I don't want anybody to jump all over me, but his form is eerily similar to gun runners, and maybe we're going to see a really good 4-year-old version of Magnitude.
You can connect those dots, the same team, same connections. Take a look at the field. The grade 3 Razorback with that kind of money, with this kind of talent, grade 3, there it is. With tap into this, a scratch. Number 5, Magnitude, 9-5 morning line favorite, Sandman, Arkansas Derby winner, but Magnitude, and revisiting that Clark you're just touching on, late November, Churchill Downs, under the lights, Richie, and Magnitude, A, beating older horses, and B, doing so without the lead.
No, he rallied from just off the pace. Now, he was laying second in the clear, so you can make of it what you will, but the Pennsylvania Derby, he came from further back, and he was in a pitched battle here. You're going to see how desperate it gets for him late. He's actually going to jump back to his left lead here, and sometimes that's just when a horse is just reaching for everything they have. See, right there, he jumps back to his left lead, and he kept finding. This is a really nice effort, and this is a big, strong horse as a 3-year-old. I'm really curious to see what he looks like physically now as a 4-year-old.
Dubai World Cup winner, he held off there. Hit show in the Clark. You see the numbers, the stats, what Magnitude has accomplished thus far, and poised for a big 4-year-old campaign that gets started today in the Razorback as we welcome in Megan Burgess to the broadcast, standing by at Steve Asmussen's stable. Megan, but this wasn't the plan for Magnitude making his 4-year-old debut in the Razorback. Like, how did we get here?
That's right, Lafitte. The Razorback wasn't the intended start for Magnitude's 4-year-old campaign, as he was initially meant to take on the Saudi Cup and Forever Young, but he caught a fever, was over that in about 48 hours per connections, back to normal as he got back into training there at the fairgrounds with trainer Steve Asmussen and Scott Blasi looking on. He's been doing very well ever since. Shipped to Oaklawn Park last week, and he's looked absolutely fantastic since getting here. Looks coiled up. I got a chance to see him school, and he's just been doing everything right. I feel physically, since seeing him last year at Saratoga, he's really taken a step forward. But the Razorback, the main entree later on today, we're all excited to see him take that step forward at 4. The plan has been the Dubai World Cup. We shall see. But taking a look at the competition over in the Cassie Barn is our very own Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Meg. As I'm here with last year's Arkansas Derby winner, Sandman, but that was the last time he saw a winner's circle, as he is looking for his first win now as a 4-year-old. Now, the return to the races, well, it didn't go accordingly, according to trainer Mark Cassie. After being blocked in the stretch for a significant amount of time, he also cut into himself, and it did take him a few days to get over it. Now, Sandman looking to get back to the races. I thought it was promising how much closer he did lay to the pace in that comeback race. And if all things go accordingly, and he finds himself back in the Oaklawn winner's circle, well, he could be on his way to the Oaklawn handicap. Lafitte?
The last time I remember Maggie getting bit before a show, before a big race, it was Skippy Longstocking, and I want to say it was the same day he won the Oaklawn handicap. Maybe we'll see more of the same from Sandman, who, despite the fact he's an Arkansas Derby winner, despite the fact he's banked more than $1.5 million, it does feel like he has something to prove, Richie. And then another layer to that story, the fact that he'll be reunited with Christian Torres, a jockey, a story in itself.
Well, I think that's the biggest part of this story. You know, Christian Torres, that should be the template for every young rider coming up. Look at the way Christian Torres conducted himself after being taken off a high-profile horse like Sandman. He didn't get mad. In fact, he even worked the horse for the Arkansas Derby, knowing he wasn't going to ride him. And now he's riding pretty much first call for Mark Cassie here at Oaklawn. He's already been rewarded with Silent Tactic, winning $1 million race. And it's very hard as a rider, when you get taken off a high-profile horse, to maintain your composure. I didn't do it very well myself over the years, and I never burned a bridge. I just blew them up completely.
Make sure there weren't any decisions to make in the future. No looking back. Really good feature tomorrow on Christian Torres before the Arkansas Derby. Today's race is brought to you by Claiborne Farm, 100 years doing the usual unusually well. A late pick for Aqueduct includes the Stymie and the Gotham. Race 9 starts across country, pick 5. Oaklawn just in time for the Class 6. Oaklawn's pick 6. Races 6 through 11. Temperature around high 70s. Feels like track is fast here in Hot Springs. And as always, we extend the invite. Sign up today at NYRABets.com and get up to a $200 deposit match bonus with promo code MATCH200. Enjoy betting on over 300 tracks around the world. Start winning today. Join now. NYRABets.com. As promised, late pick for Aqueduct back to New York with Greg, Andy, and JK.
Gentlemen, thank you. Race 7, 4 minutes away. And here's our post parade for the start of the pick 4 sequence. A New York bred entry level allowance sprint. 6.5 furlongs. Liberty Rising kicks things off.
Dream trip up the inside last time at a 30-1, but it was a fast race. I just couldn't take him at 30-1 last time, and now 7-2.
Second start off the layoff for Fireballing for Mike Maker.
His 2 race back was very good. The pace was very fast, and he held on well. I just don't know if it's a real race or not.
There's Ducky Medwick.
That's your favorite name, right? So horse has to get a lot faster to be competitive here.
Yeah, won the debut. 2 poor performances since. Sanzio, Jimmy Ferrara barn.
Yeah, one of his best races, Sanzio, did break slow. If they can break a little bit better and run back to that race 2 back, could get himself in the mix.
That's a big price on calling card.
He's a little chilly on the board, the new gelding. I am a big fan of this horse, who I believe has spent most of his career running in the wrong races.
It's on the Derby Trail last year. He's been off for a while. Here's first pitch at 30-1.
Yeah, it was 107-1 last time. It's hard to be 107-1. It's hard to run like it, too.
Splitting Stones would be a shocker at 29-1.
Yeah, I'm surprised this horse isn't a bigger price, to be honest, based on the PPs.
Did show some speed in a win at Parks, but it gets very soft company. Mozambique, Rudy Rodriguez barn.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to lay, and I just thought this was a little bit interesting. I thought the last 2 races, you could maybe have some excuses. I think the race 3 back, 4 back, 5 back, all put this horse in the mix.
And blinkers on Sir Cartwright, who's favored right now, Andy.
Yeah, I think he's a terrible bet at 2-1, but I can understand why people like him. He should be forward. He drew well on the outside. I wish I could make much stronger excuses for his previous races, but he was a little against the track.
Track labeled as good. It's been harrowed as we're 2 minutes to post here in race 7. Let's go back to calling card, who is at 4-1 right now, who's been off since June.
I believe, and I've shared this with his owner, Kirk Wyckoff, that this horse was badly mishandled. His maiden win was even more impressive than that 87 Buyer. He didn't even have a good trip in that race. They ship him down to Oaklawn for 2 turns. He's a New York bred. Then they shipped him to running in the slop at Fairgrounds. Then he ran the Gotham. They were ambitious. He actually didn't run that badly, and he had a tough trip that day. Then they tried synthetic. Then they tried turf. When they finally got him more to what he wants to do, sprinting on the dirt, he just ran to a big speed track against a killer field. He hasn't been seen 9 months, but I got a stat for you, Jonathan. Mike Maker at NYRA, 6 to 12-month layoffs in dirt sprints, 7 for 19, 37%, 271 ROI.
I agree with everything you said. The only thing I think I disagree with is that I wanted him to run better in his last race. Based off of all those other things you had said prior, that I agree, he had shown some talent.
I did too.
I just wanted him to run a little bit better.
But he went to the bench.
Yeah,
so
maybe something went wrong. Exactly.
I mean, he has that excuse built in.
But that's fair.
JK, you land on the 8. As we look at Mozambique, what'd you like?
Yeah, it's just one of those situations when you get to this level, a lot of times these horses can have good race, horrible race, bad race, and there's always excuses. That's why they kind of find themselves around they don't turn into stakes horses, because they're not as consistent. I think if you look at his last race, I didn't think he ran as bad as that 8th beaten 12 looks. I thought he got an okay figure, considering he was wide late in that race after trying to tuck in and save ground. To me, it's about getting back to that race 3 back in October. If he can duplicate that performance, to me, it puts him in the mix at a little bit of a price. It's more of a play against the 5 and the 9, who are going to be shorter prices.
5-1 right now on Mozambique as we head downstairs to Acacia.
I'm with JK. I think Mozambique looks really good today. He was against Open Company last time. I didn't see that race, but my notes from him too back in November was that just thought that a mile was a bit too far for him, and he'd really taken a step in the wrong direction as far as his coat and weight was concerned. He looks great today. Had a super warm-up out there on the track, moving really well under Ruben Silveira, and I just think he's in the right spot this afternoon. Now, your favorite, Sir Cartwright, gets blinkers on, just a shortcut cheater blinker being added here after he was chasing off the pace last time. It was in a battle for third and was able to get up that day. So he's run some decent races. He's been consistent altogether. I'm wondering if the addition of those blinkers they'll try to get some of that speed back from him that he has lost recently. He's also a horse. He was pretty laid back in the paddock, so we'll see if that equipment change does help him, but really strong in his hind end, all things good. Just wondering if we're going to see a revert back to some of those tactics where I think he's run some of his better races. Now the 2 Mike Maker horses, taking a look first at the 5 calling card. I'm with you guys on his benefits, and he is absolutely a dirt sprinter. This is the right spot for him. My only concern is that he comes back as a gelding and off of a layoff. I just wish he was stronger in his hind end. Sometimes when horses are gelded, it can really lighten them up a little bit. I don't know exactly when that gelding procedure took place. Just wish that I saw a little bit more muscle mass from him, but he wasn't moving 100% prior to the Mike Lee, and I did think that he warmed up very well over this track today. I'm going to land on the other Maker horse, though, the 2 Fireballin'. Again, wasn't here in February that day, but my previous notes from him, he's a big burly horse that usually needs a race off the layoff. I thought he looked exceptionally fit today and was pressing the pace last time dueling. Thought we're going to see a better effort this afternoon, Greg.
Thanks, Acacia. Yeah, it seems like the betting public as well, just putting a line through that comeback effort for the 2 Fireballing and not too concerned by it.
Well, I got to tell you, to be honest, I'm not going to lose a lot. He was a little against the track. It was bad. He stopped, but the fact that he comes back so quickly is probably a good sign, because it almost looked like the kind of race that we won't see him again, you know?
Yeah, but God, I just wish he would have just run a little bit better.
I agree. I bet
a little bit better.
Manny Franco for Mike Maker on the 2. Fireball and favorite, though, remains outside the 9. Sir Cartwright blinkers on for trainer Jeremiah Engelhart. We're set for the 7th. Chris Griffin, the call.
Mozambique goes in. Sir Cartwright, last to load. And in. All set. And they're off. Speed to the outside from Mozambique is in the early mix, but now here comes Splitting Stones from in between horses, tightly packed as Liberty Rising moves through at the rail. Fireballin' in that early mix, and now Fireballin' has put a neck in front of Liberty Rising back to second, out wider in third. That's Ducky Medwick. Joining them is Sir Cartwright, then another pair in behind them with the orange cap. That's going to be Sanzio, who's chased along by Splitting Stones, who's dropping back quickly. At the rail calling card, nowhere to go right now. Then towards the outside, also trying to run on, there comes Ducky Medwick is in the mix, and there's first pitch from far, far out of it. The leader is Fireballin'. Fireballin' in front at the rail, Liberty Rising. Sir Cartwright is an all-in third. Ducky Medwick is in fourth, out wide, trying to rally on. Mozambique is the one now showing from 6, is right in behind Sanzio. Fireballin', 45 and 4 for a half-mile time, and Fireballin' Manny Franco kicks away. Liberty Rising in full pursuit down the center of the racetrack. Here comes Sanzio with the run in Mozambique, trying to make up a lot of ground. Fireballin' has a furlong left to go. Sanzio is picking up the ground quickly. Grandstand side Mozambique. Fireballin' looking for the line. Sanzio, Mozambique, they're trying to pounce on Fireballin', who needs the wire. Give it to Sanzio in time at 34 to 1. Sanzio won it. Then give him a photo. That's going to be Mozambique and Fireballin' in 1 minute 19.03 seconds.
Sanzio, he was making up a ton of ground in the stretch, wondering if he would get there, but for the wire, he does. At a huge price.
Moves back and cuts back in distance for my man Raylu Gutierrez, and he really ran today as Jimmy Ferraro gets his 2nd win.
Yeah, I mean, this race was really about trying to figure out which one of these horses that ran poorly last time was going to run better, right? The one Liberty Rising ran pretty well last time, but outside of that, the rest of them all kind of threw in duds. You know, and a lot of times with these types of races, you have to look at the race 2 and 3 back and try to kind of, you know, imagine how can we get back to that. It's exactly what Sanzio did, ran back to that race 2 back that wasn't as bad as it looked on paper.
Luckily, you made your usual $100 back wheel with your pick the 8, and so you scored out. Congratulations, Jonathan, has got here, and this race just completely and totally incinerated at the end. I mean, when they came home, and frankly, I don't think the 2 ran very well. That was a fast pace.
4-8, 2-1 finished, 34 to 1 upset. As we gear up for race 6 at Oaklawn, we send it back to Lafitte and Mig.
On this gorgeous afternoon in Hot Springs, great to have you with us. And just in time for the Class 6, Oaklawn's Pick 6, just a $10,000 claiming crew. All for sale, but a competitive heat. 1 mile, they race to the short wire. We start with ringside. 19 years since his sire Curlin won the Rebel Stakes.
Yeah, getting back to dirt after two okay tries on synthetic. He's 0 for 3 at Oaklawn.
David Cabrera aboard ringside to kick things off, followed by Big Commerce. And we'll hear from trainer Ray Ashford in just a moment.
Ray Ashford having a terrific meeting. This is who I like. He ran like a horse that was in need of his start last time, going 1 1/8. He cuts back 1/8 of a mile.
Face value, a 6-year-old, aggressive in his last pair.
Yeah, he's speed, and he's kind of ranked speed. He just kind of want to run through the bridle.
Dick Best outran his odds at Fairgrounds, then Tiger Town, who hasn't found his footing on dirt.
No, but I do think he'll also be a part of the pace.
22-1 currently. Then Pat's Property, the 8-year-old, 23rd start at Oaklawn.
Yeah, he does have 3 wins here. He's hit the board 12 of those times, all told.
Salevo, JK, Salevo, Asmussen's all around.
I think he's just getting back to a more appropriate level for the 10,000.
Camp Daddy number 8, contender, runner-up in his latest. Francisco Arrieta takes over.
Yeah, and I think he can be well-placed to be forward, but not forced into the pace.
Ember, popular at the claim box.
Yeah, when horses are this popular at the claim box, there's something attractive about him. Horsemen like them. Doesn't have much early lick, though.
Easy Fast, his second dirt route of his career.
Yeah, and this is a horse, stretching out should be forward.
Statler, a long shot with a tough draw.
Tough draw, 7-pound apprentice, has to make maybe too many decisions from out there.
Metatron's Muse, contender draws in, and make the rider Christian Torres look out.
Very much the horse to beat. I wound up going more to the inside of the 2 Big Commerce, but this is the horse to beat. Just not crazy about the post.
Big field, what else is new? Oaklawn's Class 6 is next. Over to Megan, standing by with trainer Ray Ashford. Technical difficulties, Richie, and I blame you.
Well, I didn't get here early and checked all the mics, but, the one thing we can say, Ray Ashford, action speaks louder than words. He's having a tremendous meet, a win earlier on the card. He's winning at a high percentage here.
Already struck, as you mentioned, a Decode, exciting 3-year-old. So let's try this again. Take 2. Megan with Ray Ashford.
A little bit. I thought about it.
Have some technical issues there, but as mentioned, a huge milestone. I'm going to have to make you say that all over again, Ray, because 1,000 career wins. What does this mean to you and your team getting it done down in Texas yesterday?
Oh, thank you. It means everything. My son was there. He ran my horse last night, and we're very grateful. Thanks for all the owners and the horses that helped me along the way.
Big Commerce shortening up today, and how is this beautifully bred son of Justify doing?
I think he's going to run well today, but, it looks like this horse is – I'm going to have to get him somewhere with some Tapita because that's his best number. So that might be in the future down the road. But I think he'll run good today.
And I have to ask about the big horse, another Tom Durant-owned Decode. How is he doing coming out of that Southwest?
Oh, he's doing good. The horse came back in pretty good shape. We're going to give him a little break, and we're planning on something at Churchill a little later down the road.
Very excited for you. Just congratulations on this big milestone, and of course, best of luck in here, Ray.
Thank you.
Lafitte?
Fast, historically fast. They didn't used to run 2-year-old races here at Oaklawn for decades because racing didn't start till January, but fact is, he did run the fastest 6 furlongs of any 2-year-old ever here at Oaklawn Park, Decode.
And he ran very fast that day. Obviously a small sample, right? And then, listen, they asked a lot of him to stretch out to 2 turns against much tougher. He was a little bit on the keen side. He's a horse with talent. One quality that all good horses have in common, they possess speed. It's how they learn to use that speed.
That road to the Kentucky Derby via Hot Springs. So far, all Cassie, all the time, Strategic Risk. Smarty Jones winner, Silent Tactics, Southwest winner, both running in the Rebel, Richie, and in the points. This is, for all intents and purposes, a win and you're in scenario tomorrow.
Yeah, you win here in the Rebel at 50 points. It's going to get you in the starting gate for the Derby. I'm a big Silent Tactic fan, Lafitte. I just think he's a horse that's improving at the right time.
That's tomorrow. Right here, right now, this Class 6 nearing post time. We check in with Maggie Wolfendale. Maggie, face value. What's going on with this 6-year-old? He's all of a sudden is this speed demon early on in his races.
Livy, we'll get to face value in a moment, but what do you get when you have great Arkansas weather, some fast horses, a few adult beverages? Well, you get a good time here at Oaklawn as the apron, the grandstand, it is packed for this Rebel Eve. So looking forward to enjoying some racing here in Hot Springs. But guys, I do think that Metatron's Muse number 13 is the horse to beat. He looked fantastic. I do want to talk about, yes, that speedy horse at number 3, Face Value, who did run off with apprentice Amir Mendoza last time, who I do respect. I think he is a rider with some future, but he gets veteran Manny Esquivel in the irons, relation, family to Cipriano Contreras as well. I wonder with a more inside post, Manny doesn't really have to gig him out of the gate. He can just break, as Richie says, like a whisper. And we'll see. There's a few horses stretching out. Maybe they kind of press him a bit, but I do think this horse is the fastest of the fast. He was quite reserved in the paddock, and same thing out on the track. So I'm going to take him as the likely pace setter. Moving on to number 6, Pat's Property. He takes a drop in class here. This is a significant drop down for him. He looks good coming back here off of a non-effort. So maybe a little class relief. He's going to meet his friends today. And number 7, Salivo. Look, the last time that we saw him going a mile on the main track, it was over a sloppy surface and it was in a maiden special weight, albeit at Remington. But I do think this horse deserves another shot at this level going longer. He was very reserved in the paddock until Eric Asmussen got on his back, and then he became a coiled spring out there. So he might lay fairly close, or I should say closer to the pace. And physically, he looks as though he should appreciate this stretch out to the mile. And don't forget, folks, this race will start and then at the 16th pole. Livy?
It does make a difference, Richie, and viewers that don't necessarily follow on a day-to-day basis, they follow all the time and don't miss a day of live racing at Oaklawn Park. So how should our viewers watch this race a little differently than they would most others?
Well, you're going to see riders start to get a little more into the race, a little bit more forward going into the far turn because it's 110 yards shorter than the normal wire. Thing that I've experienced watching races here now, Lafitte, is a lot of guys get a little too aggressive, and you see the horse making the last run, picking them off late.
Mm-hmm. Something to watch as the field enters the far turn. You went big commerce, and Tom Durant and Ray Ashford, who we heard from, looking to revisit the winner's circle for a second time this afternoon.
I want a horse that's going to come from off the pace, not very far off the pace, but off the pace. I do think there's a lot of speed signed on here. Big commerce, I think he was affected a lot by the weather. Training was interrupted. And just evidence of that to me is February 7th, he worked a very slow 6 furlongs, 117 and 4. Mm-hmm. That speaks to me a trainer trying to get more foundation into a horse that they feel like might not be quite fit enough. He was kind of in an uncomfortable position going a mile and an eighth last time against slightly tougher. He has that race under his belt, turns back to the mile, good inside draw or towards the inside. I think he is going to run his A race today.
Bad news for most, the fact that Metatron's Muse does draw in from the outside. Christian Torres, 9-5 favorite. What should be considered a win in terms of establishing position going into the first turn with that far outside post position for Metatron's Muse and Torres?
Well, there is enough time to kind of sort it out because they are breaking back at the 16th post. So you've got, good 200 yards of straightaway. But that being said, I would say 3 wide. Christian Torres might say 4 wide. One of my principles when I was a rider, get your position going forward. Don't ever take anything away that comes easy and save as much ground as possible.
Touched on the pace scenario. Again, the Class 6 starts here. Oaklawn's pick 6 and Face Value, who has a 6-year-old now. He's hell-bent on pedal to the metal, going after the lead early on. Face Value, I'm trying to hear at the same time here, a late scratch. Pat's Property is out. Pat's Property is out. And speaking of race shape, that does potentially impact what the race will look like early on.
It does take a little bit of the speed out of here, although I think he has more speed when they go a more moderate tempo. You've got a horse like the 4, Dick Best, who's coming out of a sprint, and he was up on top of a 21 and 4. he's going to be a part of the pace. Tiger Town wants to be a part of the pace. And then, of course, Face Value and, going to a journeyman, maybe they get him to settle a little more. But not only are these 3 horses fast, they're all drawn side by side. And they have a tendency to incite each other when you have speeds drawn next to each other. There's no separation.
Now, you've been here, Richie, for the last 2-3 weeks, following all the racing each and every day. Have you noticed anything? Are there any trends, anything that jumps out as far as evaluating the races and any patterns that you've latched onto of recent?
A lot of the races this week on Thursday and Friday seem to me were benefiting horses on the inside and horses that were forward. I didn't see that as much today so far. Usually it's a very fair racetrack. I will tell you, I've always been impressed with Christian Torres as a rider. I feel like he's taken his riding to another level. I'm really, really impressed with him this year.
Except for his jubilant celebration at the wire when he won the Southwest Stakes.
I'm not
Nobody's
a big fan.
perfect.
Nope.
No.
But you understand the emotion behind it.
Yeah.
But he and I have had this conversation a few times now, and you know what? I was too vain. I wanted my pictures to look good, so I wanted to get as low and as tight as possible. But I don't like the celebration.
I'll see him do a backflip if he wins the Rebel tomorrow afternoon. The Rebel Stakes, you'll see it right here. Meanwhile, filing in, time for the Class 6, Race 6 from Oaklawn Park. Matt Dinnerman standing by.
Muse to the outside. Here's Metatron's Muse going in. We're ready to go. And we're off. Easy fast. Away slowly. Dick Best, quarter horse down to the gate to go to the front with Tiger Town. These two hook up in the first 100 yards. Big Commerce right behind them with Camp Daddy. Ringside down on the rail as they go into the first turn. Face Value behind horses off of heels in midfield now with Solivo. Gap of 2. Metatron's Muse. He broke from the outside post from the 11 hole. He finds himself on the rail now, and he's 8 lengths behind. Good job by Christian Torres to get him to save some ground on the first turn here. A gap of 3 lengths back to Easy Fast. Statler to his inside, and Ember is at the back of the pack as they make their way up the back stretch. Dick Best is the pacemaker. He's cleared off by 2 1/4. Tiger Town concedes the lead, gets a breather. He runs in second. Gap of 3. Camp Daddy in the third spot with Ringside. Big Commerce sent along between them. Face Value hasn't had a good go. He had to check momentarily up the back stretch, and he's 8 lengths behind with Metatron's Muse, who's patiently ridden. He's 3 better than Solivo, who's come under a hard ride. Easy Fast joining him into the forward turn run. Big space back to Statler at the rear with Ember as they round the forward turn. Remember, this race will end at the 16th pole. Dick Best, 11-1, clear by 2.5 lengths. Camp Daddy under a ride in second with Big Commerce, but they're gaining ground on Dick Best now, who approaches the top of the lane. He's in front of 1.5 lengths. Camp Daddy all in. Big Commerce is next, coming off the turn. Dick Best down the lane. A 3-length lead as the reins get shaken at him, and he opens up 3. Camp Daddy in the second spot. Easy Fast is coming on late. Dick Best, Asael Espinoza clear to the finish. Dick Best went right to the lead and never stopped. Camp Daddy second across the finish. Photo for third. Big Commerce, Face Value, and then Metatron's Muse and Easy Fast.
The California bred. Dick Best makes the lead, gets brave, never looks back. Takes down the 6th race at Oaklawn Park, closing at 11-1 upset to kick off the Class 6.
I really didn't see anybody going gate to wire here, but Dick Best, they did the right thing. When you're on a speed horse, especially or stretching out from a sprint to a route, go. Don't allow anybody else to entertain the idea. Make up their mind for them. And the rider did a great job here, and he just kept finding. And, he doesn't run like a sprint type. He's kind of got a big, almost gangly stride to him, kind of reminiscent of a camel or a giraffe, maybe.
Head way up in the air, a la Channel Maker. You're kind of waiting for him to come back to the field, and then you could tell top of the stretch he was going to take some catching, and in the end wins by daylight at 11-1 an upset here in the 6th race at Oaklawn Park. Much more coming your way on this Gotham Stakes Saturday, and a 3-year-old by the name of Dirty Rich. He did strike it rich opening day here at Oaklawn Park. Advent Stakes winner in New York today at Aqueduct for the Gotham. Be right back.
Later today, the Stymie will be run, and what a horse. This was back in 1947. This was the 103rd start of his career as a 6-year-old, his 26th career victory at the time. He'd finish with 35 career wins, and at the time of his retirement, the leading money earner of all time with just over $900,000.
Yeah, no, he was an amazing horse, and you talk about how many starts he made. I was there that day. It was a little before I was born, but I felt like I was there in spirit. No, he's one of those horses you always heard about, one of those great old pros that just ran a lot of times. And look at that record. You'll never really see that again, Jonathan.
No, you don't see that with a claiming horse. It's
amazing.
Incredible. Among those victories, the Met Mile, the Brooklyn Handicap, trained by Hall of Famer Hersh Jacobs. 35 career wins, and incredible too that he won 35 times because he lost the first 13 starts of his career.
He got good. He was a late bloomer.
Yes, he was.
Probably made those 13 starts in about 2 months to start his career out.
Well, we'll have the Stymie at his race 8 on today's card. We're 7 minutes to post. We're going to look back to earlier in today and on the road to this year's Kentucky Oaks in the Busher.
Yeah, it's a little hard to say you're thinking this horse is a Kentucky Oaks contender, but we've seen horses come out of the Busher and run well going forward in the Kentucky Oaks, and Paradise certainly was a facile winner of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to see if she's going to appreciate a little bit more ground. Her mother, Venetian Harbor, was a very good turf sprinter. Great pedigree, turf sprinter. She ended up winning some races long, but she also won races turf sprinting.
I thought she was a turf sprinter. I'm confusing her with somebody else, and I'm sure you're right.
But at the same time,
it's a gun runner,
so cancels it all out.
No, I thought she ran well. It's not like, we've seen a very fair racetrack today. We've seen some speeds do well, but we've seen horses make runs. This horse stalked, pounced, and was just considerably the best horse today's race. And, we'll see. We'll see when the figures come up and see what happens going forward. But there's no reason you can't dream. And I got to tell you, there are a few nice 3-year-old fillies out there, but even look at the $750,000 stake at Oaklawn tomorrow. It's not exactly a field full of killers.
And you could gradually improve. It was the first try against winners for Paradise, 3rd overall start. Brad Cox, Manny Franco, NK Racing, LNJ Foxwoods team up for that win earlier today in the Busher. Before we jump into this Stymie, just real quick, that winner of the last race, Anzio, you mentioned second win today, Jimmy Ferraro. The last time, we were told by Dave Krennig of DRF, last time Jimmy Ferraro won 2 wins on a day, this same day back in 2020.
I wanted that information beforehand because, it always works out that way. Things happen every 6 years. Congrats to Jimmy. Good guy, good trainer. Nice to see him get that.
Here's our post parade for the Stymie. Here's Phileas Fogg. Blinkers come off.
He's probably not the speed today, but he's run effectively rating, and if he's the Phileas Fogg at all of last year, he's going to win.
Linda Rice, Jose Lezcano. Here's Yo Daddy.
Yeah, should be aggressive and try to wire this field just in case Phileas Fogg wants a little bit more ground.
And on the outside, Coro Mobino Amoide. Rob Atris taking over training duties.
Yeah, look, this horse has some back numbers. If there's an improve or kind of a way to find that old form, it's not impossible.
You don't think he's the speed? I thought he was the speed.
He's got sprint speed.
Yeah, I thought he'd be the speed over Phileas Fogg. We'll see what happens.
Keep your eyes on, the early pace, but we know Phileas Fogg, he likes to be in front as well. We'll see how it plays out. 5 minutes away from a compact field in this Stymie at a 1-turn mile on Gotham Day from Aqueduct.
Anybody else want $650,000 bid today? $1,650,000 $1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
And here's Tama in the final stages. The Santa Anita Derby goes to Tama. leading Malibu by 4 widening lengths.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away, when you want to reward yourself, when you deserve to indulge, when you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing returns with the classic racing season. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races here, brought to you by Naira Bets, where you can play it all, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. The Stymie, 2 minutes to post in this one-turn mile with really one of the great claims we've seen in a long time in the sport. Phileas Fogg claimed for $62,000. Since the claim has gone on to win 5 times, become a multiple stakes winner and a graded stakes winner. He's 1-4 right now.
Win here, he's over $900,000 in earnings, and a lot of it after he was claimed, and very good job by Gustavo Rodriguez. You know, it's unfortunate that he was involved in that incident, which was, the rider's fault, obviously, in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, because it took away from a horse that was having a great year, and he actually ran really well to be third that day. It's just unfortunate because it became the story, and the story's supposed to be how good he is.
Let's go down to Acacia.
He is a good horse. I have a lot of respect for Phileas Fogg, and it was a very special moment this summer when he gave his trainer, Gustavo Rodriguez, his first graded stakes victory in that Suburban. Now, we last saw him in the Cigar Mile last time. I thought at that day, the tolls of the long year were really starting to show. He just did not look as great in his coat. He'd gotten pretty light, had lost some of his weight and conditioning. He's done really well with the freshening. I really think it was the right move for him to give him just a little bit of a break, some time off, and he's fresh coming back. He had a good warm-up away from the pony. I think Jamie Rodriguez fits him very well. The blinkers come off, too, interestingly enough. Added a cheater cup on last time out for the Cigar Mile, but yet he was held and taken off the pace in that effort last time. He's run well coming from off of it, but I think that he is best when he's able to be kind of a free-running type. But like I said, I appreciate how well he's done with a little bit of time off from the races, and we'll see if he has a big year ahead. Now, one of the most intriguing horses on the card is the number 6, Komorobino Omoide. I told Rob Atras I practiced saying that many times as he does take over here. And Rob had said that he'd actually saddled him 2 back at Fairgrounds in the Thanksgiving Classic, and said he's a very aggressive horse, tough to get the tack on. He acted very well back in the paddock today, which is definitely not uncommon sometimes for horses that do tend to be a bit rambunctious or anxious. Sometimes here in this Aqueduct paddock, they're just much quieter and more settled. That was the case with this guy. Big, good-looking individual, dappled from head to toe. And he went forward last time out, and I thought a little bit of an odd trip for him in the Tenacious, but maybe going a touch further than he might appreciate. Interestingly enough, too, he's owned and bred by Perry Martin, who campaigned and co-owned his sire, California Chrome. He said his wife picked out the Japanese name, which means the light that filters through the trees, and Omoide meaning memory. So intriguing prospect coming in. Finally, the 4 Yo Daddy, impressive win last time out from a stalking spot. I always like him going a touch longer, but he's been effective at the mile before, and he does look strong second off of that layoff, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. 2-5 favorite, graded stakes winner Phileas Fogg. Trying this mile distance again. He'd been having a lot of success going longer. Well, you're set for the Stymie. Chris Griffin, the call.
And they're off. Phileas Fogg breaks sharply. Yo Daddy right there, too. Komorobino Omoide is towards the outside of them. Now a nose in front, but Phileas Fogg does not want to allow an easy lead. And these two match up together as they'll come out of the chute and hook up with the backstretch. Komorobino Omoide is to the outside here of Phileas Fogg. Yo Daddy is going to sit right there in behind the now battling duo through a 22.49 honest opening quarter. Phileas Fogg with a nose advantage. Ramon Vasquez to the outside of them. Komorobino Omoide is now put ahead back in front. Phileas Fogg encouraged to do more. Jamie Rodriguez trying to keep up. these two leaders continue to match race here up the backstretch. And Yo Daddy, Jose Lezcano, watching them from third, starts to get some encouragement. 45.03 for a half-mile time. Comorabino Omoide is in front, is up by 3/4 of a length. Phileas Fogg is now asked to do plenty more at the rail and not cutting into the margin. Here comes Yo Daddy, who was well settled off of those honest fractions, but Comorabino Omoide has got the lead, has a 1/4 mile left to go in the Stymie. Comorabino Omoide, Yo Daddy, though, starts to roll down the center of the racetrack, and these two will now square off here in the stretch run in the Stymie. A furlong left to go. Comorabino Omoide, Yo Daddy on the grandstand side, shoulder to shoulder. Comorabino Omoide now back a half length in front. Comorabino Omoide is almost there. Comorabino Omoide, Sugoi wins the Stymie. Comorabino Omoide won it over Yo Daddy and Phileas Fogg in 1 minute 38.27 seconds.
Comorabino Omoide able to hold off the challenge from Yo Daddy, wins for the 7th time in his career.
Game performance. Yo Daddy looked like he was going to win for fun here, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, it did. He looked like Yo Daddy was going to run by. And the winner, like, he stared in the eye of a grade 2 winner all the way around there, put that one away. I don't think Phileas Fogg really necessarily ran his race. But still, it wasn't like it was the easiest lead where he just was out there coasting with no one looking at him.
They were moving.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they didn't come home in time, and it's not really that much faster than the Busher. It's not a particularly fast race as far as the final time, but it was a very, very fast pace early. I don't understand why Jamie Rodriguez, and he wasn't winning anyway, sent on the inside, because watching this race today, I don't know that the rail's bad, but I would rather be a little bit off the rail.
Well, I think in his defense, I think if the real Phileas Fogg shows up, that ride should win.
I guess I just wouldn't have sent after this horse inside. He cleared. Yeah. Go outside of him and stalk outside of him. He's been able to stalk before Phileas Fogg, and wasn't winning. He ran badly, but I also wonder how much this horse drifted. I haven't seen a head on the stretch. I don't think there's going to be a DQ or something, but I do feel like he may have drifted a little bit.
We'll see if we get a look.
No, there's no inquiry.
At the head-on, yeah, nothing as of yet. 6-4-3. And, yeah, Phileas Fogg, just no response today, as this horse has been very good. 6-year-old son of California Chrome in his 6-year-old debut with the win.
Not a lot of California Chromes winning stakes. He was a great horse, but it says he was bred by Perry Martin in Japan. Perry Martin go over to Japan to do the breeding? He was one of the owners, right?
Yep.
3-1.
Calling something funny there, Jonathan.
3-1 in a 3-horse field where you felt he potentially could have been the speed anyway.
Yeah, I think he was the speed. I expected him to be in front. I didn't like him. I would never have picked him in here. But here's the head-on. It's a little late. But,
blue cap on the inside.
Well, he's coming out. I mean, he's got that left stick.
Nothing egregious to this point.
No, nothing bad. He drifted a little, but no.
Well, took his path, held his path.
Yeah, nothing there.
Well, Rob Atras, first race with this horse under his care and a win in the 6-year-old debut. He'll take it at 3-1. Winner of the Stymie on this Gotham Saturday afternoon. Back to Oaklawn. Look at that crowd assembled for a big weekend. Razorback today with Magnitude. Knew What's New, set to do battle. The Rebel on Sunday. Let's send it out to Hot Springs.
One of the biggest weekends every season, and time for the late pick 5 on this Saturday afternoon. We start with Heroes Medal.
Lacks speed, good inside draw, dropping back down slightly in class.
You're on my style, facing softer. Much better post today.
Yeah, and should be part of the pace here. That definitely has speed.
Lemon Drop Shot, Make the Rider, Carlos Ulloa, then the tepid favorite, Pappy's Revenge, second start off the layoff.
This is who I like. I thought last time he just didn't get the trip he needed, but it was a much tougher race, too.
On the stage for the Asmussens.
White hot. Steve Asmussen having a terrific run, particularly when Eric Asmussen's riding for him.
Sir Exton, outsider.
No speed would be a surprise.
Slip Mahoney, number 7, the 6-year-old Arrowgate gelding.
Yeah, and dropping down in class, maybe just getting to a more appropriate level.
Same shade, same color as his daddy, 4-1. Then Hayes Strike, idle since late November.
Yeah, so he's coming off a little bit of a layoff, and he's got 1 win out of 4 tries here at Oaklawn.
50-cent dollar, third start at the meet.
Yeah, another one, just kind of even pace. I'd like to see a little more out of him.
In Underhill's tab, I'd like to see a little more out of him in the stretch, lacking that knockout punch.
Yeah, and even last time, dropping so far out of it, you would think he would have finished with more enthusiasm. He's just a little bit one pace, and it's a tough post on top of it.
$20,000 claimers here. Rebel Distance, mile and a 16th. Late pick 5 next. Oaklawn back to Aqueduct to wrap up the Stymie, Greg.
Well, Lafitte, thank you. There is the 6-year-old, 7-time winner now, winner of the Stymie, Komorobino Amoide, off the bench and into the winner's circle, holding off Yo Daddy in this 3-horse field. Ramon Vasquez for trainer Rob Atris. Let's go down to Acacia.
And here with Rob as Komorobino Amoide, I told you I practiced, gets the first win under your care. And you had said you were a little bit familiar with him from Fairgrounds too. He seemed to really take this Aqueduct scene very well.
He did. You know, he was very calm in the paddock, and he can get a little bit hyped up. So it was good to see that he was calm, but he was poised. And as soon as he got in the track, he warmed up really good. So I was hoping he'd run like that.
He was very game in the stretch too. Had to be really encouraging how much he really fought today.
You know, they were going really quick, so I was a little bit worried. But you know, Ramon asked him for more, and he just kept giving it to him. He's a tremendous horse.
I know he's done a little bit of everything. Do you feel like one turn on the dirt might really be the sweet spot for him?
I thought he'd really appreciate it. He ran great at 6 furlongs at Fairgrounds. You know, he's handled 2 turns, he's handled turf, he's, you know, everything. So I think whatever you throw at him, he's just a game horse. He's just the kind of horse you dream of having.
Well, congratulations. Really nice effort and a nice win today.
Thank you, Acacia.
Greg?
Good for Rob Atris to get some pressure. You got a nice horse in your barn. You want to do well, first start, and how about that? Get your picture taken.
So the question is, will he stay there, or is this a situation when he could only run here? Because keep in mind, I don't think Robertino Diodoro could run in New York, and I think he did not HISA track Fairgrounds, so that might be why he's here. I guess it depends where he goes. Hope for Rob's sake he stays here, and for our sake.
Yeah, it's a fun horse. We'll set up race 9 momentarily, but we're 4 minutes to post at Oaklawn for race 7, condition $20,000 mile and a 16th event. Let's go back to Lafitte and Company.
4 minutes out now, race 7. These $20,000 claimers, competitive race here. Richie, while we're looking at Hero's Medal, you're going with Pappy's Revenge, who is the lukewarm choice currently.
You know, I think he's versatile. He has enough speed to get position. I've been impressed with this rider, Serafin Carmona. He's won on some very big long shots here. He's picking up a horse that is your lukewarm favorite at the moment. And I just think he's going to be well placed from the start. I think the 2 My Style should go, and he's going to set up shop just offside of that horse. Should get first run.
Maggie's trackside, Maggie, Pappy's Revenge. What are you noticing as we continue to look at Hero's Medal?
Well, it's funny, Lafitte, whenever I walk into the paddock and write down this horse looks best in the field, I'm always like, ooh, maybe I'm being a little sneaky, maybe a little priced. Nope, I walk out and he's the favorite, and that is number 4, Pappy's Revenge. He just stood out each and every time he walked around the paddock, and it spilled over to the racetrack too. Super coat and flesh and just great energy too. As last time he was breaking from that far outside post, today he's drawn more inside. He was flattered by Black Powder, coming back and winning with a 77. He was a bit one pace through the stretch, but I think this horse does have the ability to lay close. So I think that will give him his best opportunity to capitalize on that forward early position. Moving on to number 8, that's Hayes Strike, who does come off a little bit of a layoff. Now, you look, Delta Downs, not sure if that form translates, but it was a pretty good race, and we saw the 3rd place finisher come back, Cajun Amy, with a 75. The 4th place finisher came back to win too with a 73 buyer. So I do think it's a decent race that he comes out of, one that you might not have to automatically dismiss because it happened at Delta. He's a big, good-looking sort. I like the fact that he does get half a furlong more to deal with here today, going a mile and a 16th, but he just ticked every box for me. He is another one though, that is a bit one pace, as Christian Torres will have to get him forwardly placed as well. Now, number 7, Slip Mahoney, a horse that I'm pretty familiar with throughout his career. Now, the last time I saw him, he was actually a late vet scratch, going back to last year in June. And he's one that, leading up to that point and on that particular day, just was not moving well behind. So he comes in here off of a good number race with an 81 buyer, kind of coming in fresh here at Oaklawn for Gennaro Garcia. He's moving much better than I've ever seen him behind, and great energy on the racetrack, looks the part overall. And as we get it over to Meg, I know you're interested in this Gray Sun of Arrogate.
That's right, Maggie. The number 7, Slip Mahoney. I love Maggie being here because, boy, it's so much fun to have her analysis from seeing horses. And then I actually got to see this horse last time out on February the 8th, and I'd agree with everything she said. Maybe didn't move as freely, and also just more fit. He was coming off of a layoff last time out. He looks way more tucked up to me than what I saw from him at last out. I will say this, he's kind of a smaller made individual. Maybe the 7/8 mile is more up his valley, but man, I mean, this is a former stakes winner back in the day, going as long as a mile and 3/16. So I don't think the distance is a huge concern. He's one that also kind of has some propensity to be a little bit one pace, but Lafitte sure has the numbers and the past form that stacks up well against this group. Dropping and tag.
Megan, thanks so much. This crowd and the railbirds, everyone kind of flocks towards the fence there right before post time, and we broadcast from there where Maggie is posted. It's a great spot to spend the afternoon, and this really fun, knowledgeable Oaklawn fan base.
Well, years ago, the great announcer in New York, Freddie Capicella, what would he say? He says, as the crowd gathers along the rail, it can only mean one thing. It is now post time.
It gets loud down there, especially on the bigger days. It gets loud down there.
But they're always enthusiastic. They love their racing here. It's very similar to Saratoga. They do call this the Saratoga of the South. And much like Saratoga, you go out for dinner. Most of the time, the conversation in the restaurant is about the racing.
Yeah, and you can feel when it's a big weekend, a big event on the horizon. Pride in the racing around here, and specifically on weekends like this, with this road to Louisville for the Kentucky Derby through Hot Springs, and adding another layer to the Rebel, the fact that it makes for a better prep scenario for these 3-year-olds exposed to that kind of crowd when you get, I don't know, 65,000 on Arkansas Derby Saturday?
It's a dress rehearsal. You know, your horses got to handle a lot when it's a big crowd, and some of them don't handle it as well as others. But here they give an opportunity to kind of test the waters and see who has the mental capacity to handle the hubbub that goes around it.
Rebel Stakes tomorrow. I'll have it for you live. Final local prep before the Arkansas Derby, 50 points to the winner. For all intents and purposes, a win-in-your-in scenario for the run for the Roses. At the gate, final thoughts here, Rich, as they move into line for this $20,000 claiming event.
Well, I'm just hoping that Pappy's Revenge gets off cleanly and is just stalking right off of what I believe is the main speed in the 2, You're My Style.
Up to Matt Dinnerman with the call. Start of the late pick 5, race 7, live from Oaklawn Park.
It's Revenge. On the stage, the gray horse, 50-cent dollars. Post position 9 into the outside. Underhill's Tab rounds out the field. Here's Underhill's Tab. Francisco Arrieta looking for a double today. And we're ready to go. And they're off. Stumble at the break from You're My Style. Pappy's Revenge. He gets a call to go to the front now, but You're My Style recovers after the bad break and strides in front. Pappy's Revenge takes second. Underhill's Tab third going into the turn. Hero's Medal is down on the rail. Sir Exton in the lime green. He's 6 lengths off the pace in mid-division early. Hayes Strike to his outside. Then comes a tugging Slip Mahoney. Lemon Drop Shot down on the rail. 50-cent dollars kept off the fence is second to last. On the stage, the gray horse is the caboose of the field as they make their way up the back stretch. You're My Style Kylie Jordan on the lead, a length and a half. Pappy's Revenge settles into stride second in a good spot. He's 2 ahead of Underhill's Tab in the 3rd position. Heroes Medal inside of Sir Exton. They're 2 better than Hayes Strike. Slip Mahoney continues to race on a hold. Eager here. He's 7 from the lead with a half mile to go. Length and a half back to On the Stage, getting closer out of last, passing 2 runners. Lemon Drop Shot and 50 Cent Dollars, who's well off the rails, still at the back as they go into the 4-turn run. Pappy's Revenge turning up the stakes now. You're My Style just a nose in front. Pappy's Revenge right there as they round the 4th turn. Space of 2. Underhill's Tab getting closer. Heroes Medal, the same can be said for him on the rail. He's saving ground. Sir Exton plodding along 6 lengths behind. Not going to get it done. Hayes Strike, he's in trouble, losing position. Passed by On the Stage at the top of the stretch where the leader is Pappy's Revenge. Pappy's Revenge off the turn. He's ahead of the field a length and a half. Underhill's Tab trying to reel him in. He's got a shot to do it. Pappy's Revenge finds a little bit more. Underhill's Tab is leveling off and up the inside. Heroes Medal. Here comes Heroes Medal with all the momentum, riding the rail to the lead under David Cabrera, drawing clear for the Cameron Milligan barn. Heroes Medal gets the gold medal to kick off the late pick 5. He's 5-1. Underhill's Tab 2nd. Pappy's Revenge 3rd. On the Stage 4th.
He came up empty. He was just flat in the stretch in his latest. Not the case today. Heroes Medal, David Cabrera guiding him down towards the rail and takes off to strike at 5-1 in the 7th at Oaklawn Park.
It's a really nice ride by David Cabrera. He, like you said, he kind of saw the opening and it was plenty of room and he angled down in there and his horse really responded well. Heroes Medal gets it done. I thought Pappy's Revenge got the trip I wanted. He just wasn't good enough. The 10 ran a good race. Doesn't it feel like, though, with that short wire finishing in the 64, everybody gets a little involved a little earlier than they might normally?
Cabrera going to work. He had a decision there to try to split the two, perhaps wheel towards the outside with Heroes Medal, and that daylight presented itself down towards the inside, darted towards the opening, and it paid off.
Well, and if you have to split 2, you've got to contend with if one of them drifts one way or the other drifts the other. At least if you only go inside of one, you only got to contend with what that horse may do.
Heroes Medal, 1-10-4-5 in the 7th here at Oaklawn Park. Results when we come back, plus North America's all-time leading trainer, Steve Asmussen. He is a 2-time Razorback winning trainer, most recent, the mighty Gun Runner 2017, seeking a 3rd Razorback victory later this evening with Magnitude, his 4-year-old debut in the Saturday feature at Oaklawn Park.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by Gainesway Farm. Power, passion, performance. As we get set for race 9, a race away from the Gotham on the road to this year's Kentucky Derby. Race 9 is a one-turn mile, an allowance optional claiming group. And the current favorite, Donegal Surges, Todd Pletcher, Manny Franco, 3-2, Andy.
And I like the fact that we've got 3 back-to-back-to-back mile races on the dirt, including the Gotham, to use to compare. I think they went 38-29 in the last race, and this is a pretty strong field. I picked the 4 Donegal Surges, who got a ridiculous ride last time, way against the racetrack. But at that price, I'm going to go to my second pick, Whittingham Park, who I think, if maybe a pace develops, he could take advantage of it, Jonathan.
8-time winner from that second post to the outside, 7-year-old. Here's the cross country that begins right here in race 9, includes the Gotham and the Razorback from Oaklawn.
Yeah, I'm going to play. I'm going to get involved here. Why wouldn't I? I'm going to spread in this first leg. We'll talk about it a little bit more. I do like the 12, big blue line in this first leg. In the second leg, which is our Gotham, I'm going to single the 6 Iron Honor. Then we'll head down to Oaklawn. I'll single the 6 Top Level. I'll use the 4 and the 5. I don't quite trust Magnitude, but I also don't quite trust New What's New. I'll use the 4 and the 5 there, and then I'll wrap it up with those Arkansas Breds. 1, 2, 8, 9, a $20 ticket for 50 cents.
Is 4 Arky Breds enough?
Good luck to JK and anyone else playing that cross-country pick 5. You can play it on Naira Bets. First leg of the sequence. When we come back, we're 7 minutes away, race 9, and then it's Gotham time here in New York on the road to the first Saturday in May.
They're coming down for the finish, and it is Silver State.
10-25, 10-25, and 25-35, 335,000.
Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
First again and again and again. First mission, 4 graded stakes. He made finishing first his mission, and all with big buyers. Now he's a Darley Stallion, and breeders are falling in love with him. Here's fabled horseman John Williams.
First Mission is an eyeful. He's beautifully balanced, and I love the way he uses himself as he moves.
Come to see First Mission and tell us your first impression. Consider it your mission.
She's so spicy. She won it by 4 lengths on the wire. Side by side and stride for stride. Who's it going to be? My Soldier Citizen Bull. Bear has it close to home from Brussels. Side Bears, the Breeders' Cup winner. Van Tornado and Iran Ortiz have won the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Good to have you with us on Fox Business Channel. On our Saturday coverage with the Gotham to come on the road to this year's Kentucky Derby. Our coverage brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Our post parade coming up for this 9th. And Eliminate, we will see first here in a moment, who inherits the rail for trainer Joe Sharp, set to make his 5-year-old debut.
Yeah, look, he runs well fresh. I will say that he won on debut, and then he also won off another long layoff in his career.
It's been a dream meet for Linda Rice. She sends out Dreamlike with Sahin Zavachi.
I like cutting back to the one-turn mile. This horse was against the track last time.
Big favorite, Donegal Surges, Todd Pletcher with Manny Franco.
Yeah, certainly the most likely winner here, but I thought this race was entirely too interesting to just land on this one.
Tons of back class here with Castle Chaos.
I agree. I just don't know if you can rely on him to be that horse anymore, and as an 8-year-old.
Big time away for the 8-year-old as well. Brigadier General, some with a little back class as well.
Yeah, he's got some back numbers. He's moving to a barn with Dave Duggan where, if Dave gets him going back in the right direction, he could be one.
He's a key to the race because he has a lot of speed.
Lightly raced V Cruiser, who can be quick as well.
Right. If Brigadier General off the 22-month layoff doesn't have speed, he can go. Now, I think when he got away with Murder 2 back, he still didn't run well enough to win here.
Here's Russian Realm. Luis Rivera Jr. rides.
Yeah, I mean, his last race, certainly right there in the mix. And his race 2 back wasn't bad either.
Trying to win his 3rd in a row. Andy likes Whittingham Park, 18-1.
Well, I picked him second, but I'm going to have to bet a few dollars this price in here. He's got races fast enough, and if the pace gets quick, he can take advantage.
And big blue line, Ruben Silvera riding for Fernando Abreu off the claim.
I just think this horse's form's got a little bit dirty. You look for his race, he ran for Will Walden and also for Rick Dutrow. Then they tried the turf, and then they were trying to close into a slow pace. Then they were on synthetic, and then they were going 9 furlongs.
He stumbled very badly.
I just think that his form is very dirty compared to what I think he could do.
If you're playing with Naira Bets, take advantage of this. $10 to win on any one horse in the Fountain of Youth. Get your $10 back if your horse finishes second. Opt in to take advantage at NairaBets.com. And we'll see, of course, in that race, Champagne winner Napoleon Solo, who was so impressive in the second start of his 2-year-old campaign, passed on the Breeders' Cup. See what he brings for his 3-year-old debut.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic his chances, but they say he's working well.
So here's the favorite, Donegal Surges. A lot to like on the form lines, appearance as well. As we take a look, 2 starts back. This was a win where he got DQ'd and placed second.
Right. It was a legitimate DQ. It was really, to be honest, a bit of a reckless ride here. Coming out severely into the second place finisher who got placed first. But I still think he ran extremely well. And even if you think that he was going to lose to BU came back and won a stake. And he was finishing second to Knightsbridge. So, who's obviously one of the better horses in the country right now, Knightsbridge. So I think he ran very well. I believe he's the horse to beat. He got, in my opinion, a terrible ride last time. He was really wide every step of the way and made a crazy move at the 3/8 pole.
Don't love horses with this style and large fields
prices.
like this at short prices.
Minute to post coming up. Acacia has gone. Wait, those are mixed up, right? You like the...
No, I picked the 4.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Well, I can't change my picks on this show. I have to live and die. I never thought this horse would be 8-5 in here. And I should have picked the 11. I even said in Talking Horses, I should have picked the 11 because he's going to be a much bigger price.
Well, someone was brave enough to do that. Let's go to her now.
Well, I will explain my reasoning. Maybe not a good thing if Andy and I like the same long shot, but I'll get to Whittingham Park in a moment. But starting off with the favorite in Donegal Surges, yes, he had such a wide trip last time out, and he was drifting 2 starts back when they got that disqualification. It seems, since I've last seen him, at least, they've put a cage bit on him, so a stronger equipment in his mouth, more control for the rider, more better steering, especially for horses that do have the tendency to lug in or out. So that definitely should help him, and he should at least get a better trip today. As you touched on, Greg, he warmed up beautifully. I thought he looked super. Definitely one of the best looking horses throughout. I just always find him a little bit tough to trust. That being said, I do feel that a mile is his ideal distance. Now, he and Dreamlike both come out of a race behind Yo Daddy, who we just saw run very well in the Stymie last race. So flattering them. Dreamlike the 3-4, Linda Rice as well, was off slow last time out. And he is a horse that just, at least in his last few starts, at least since he's been with Linda, has not been able to put himself into the game either. So he is a deep closing type, and he's one of those horses that he takes a little bit of time to get into his stride. He has these kind of long legs to him, and he's able to kind of gobble up some of the ground, a typical grinder, so to speak. That being said, I thought overall he's been very consistent and going a bit longer too. He's been effective with cutting back to the 1-turn mile. He will be running on late. You know that you're always going to get at least an effort from him. And he's a horse that looks much the same as he always does, which, given how consistent he is, I think that's a positive. Now on to the 11, Whittington Park. And he is, yes, a generous price right now. He's a horse that I've always felt just one that needed time. He needs to be able to get into his own stride. He should get a nice kind of trip in here. He faced very tough horses last time out. I thought today this is the best that I have seen him look in a long time. Super coat. He kept catching my eye every step of the way in here. So I wanted to take a little bit of a shot with him. We'll see if it's not too much weight, Greg.
All right, thank you, Acacia. Donegal Surge is 7-5 favorite. Todd Pletcher Barn, Manny Franco, the 4-horse. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
Goes in. All set. And they're off. Speed towards the inside, Dreamlike is now going to take back, and there's V Cruiser, and V Cruiser now presses on. V Cruiser's in front with Brigadier General right there, a close-up second. Joining them, Castle Chaos switches to the outside in third. Donegal Surges is down at the rail, now moves forward, is going to challenge for that early supremacy as they come out of the chute, hook over the backstretch. Donegal Surges has worked on through, is now a neck in front. V Cruiser back to second, 23.23, a controlled opening quarter. Brigadier General is in third, is followed to the outside by Castle Chaos from fourth. Then comes Big Blue Line, who's in fifth. Trying to keep up in behind them is Dreamlike, going to be mid-pack there. Whittington Park starts to rally on Eliminate, back into the field, and far, far back, the early trailer, Russian Realm. They get set to work into the far turn, and Donegal Surges is still there, 45-4 for that half-mile time. Donegal Surges, no turning back now. Manny Franco now lets it out another notch, and he's up by a length and a half. Brigadier General has moved to the outside of V Cruiser. They're second and third. Castle Chaos is all in, trying to make up some ground too. Big Blue Line, Dreamlike from the back. Whittington Park Eliminate in some traffic, and Russian Realm far back. Donegal Surges just keeps bowling right along. Brigadier General right to the outside is trying to cut into the margin of Donegal Surges, who's approaching a final furlong. Donegal Surges, Dreamlike starts to get rolling down the center of the racetrack. Whittington Park starts to run on too. Donegal Surges almost there with the 16th left to go. Dreamlike is rolling late, but Donegal Surges has done enough and will win it. Donegal Surges over Dreamlike, then Whittington Park and Russian Realm in 1 minute 37.32 seconds.
Donegal Surges was very sharp this afternoon. Wins for the 5th time in his career.
And he would have won the last race. He would have won the Stymie. He probably ran the wrong race. And you know what's funny about him, Jonathan, and I agree with exactly what you said. You said, I don't need to take a short price on a horse with his running style. I don't think, and I picked him, I think we all found a little surprised to see him in the front end, but Manny was right because they were crawling up front. I mean, we've seen 22-45. They went 45 the last race. They went 23-1. They've heated up the second quarter, but this was a very clever ride by Manny.
No, absolutely. I mean, Manny's the reason this horse won as easy as he did. You know, he takes back, gets in behind horses. You know, somehow this margin could have been a little bit closer than it already was. Taking a horse like that projects to be one of the best closers, and you find yourself on the front end, that's usually what happens.
Yeah, and even though it got kind of close at the end, he did all of the running, and both my horse, the 11, who finished, not my horse, I picked the winner, but big deal. I mean, the 11 and the 3, they were picking up pieces at the end in a race that had a very fast middle pace. Slow first quarter, but then they really
No question, this one, yeah, doing all the dirty work. 4-3, 11-10. Manny Franco having a very productive week. Great meet overall.
Pretty good rider.
Yes, he is. And how confident was he on this horse?
Well, you know, these are the kind of rides that I think separate the good riders from the really good riders. The fact that Manny did that, a lot of riders might be scared because you're going to get second-guessed if a ride like this doesn't work out.
Back to Hot Springs as we approach race 8.
Those images, good crowd on hand. Still have the Gotham coming up in New York, the Razorback here at Oaklawn Park, race number 10, this 8th race. Start of the late pick 4, Arkansas bred, fillies and mares sprinting 3/4 of a mile, and Walkaway K, heavy favorite, Richie, at 3-2. Why?
Well, listen, she has races that are certainly, she's only run 3 times that they're all good enough to win here. But she is a 3-year-old facing older horses early in the year. And even though she gets a break in the weights, Eric Asmussen can't do less than 117, so she's assigned 111, 6 pounds over. It mitigates that benefit of having the weight break being a 3-year-old against elders.
Can't take advantage. Let's meet the field. One way or another. It's hard to say her name without like singing it, Richie.
No doubt. And when she runs her A race, she's good. She should be forward right up in behind the pace. Last time she kind of popped the doors open a split second before the start.
Rockin' the Lane, lightly raced, just graduated at 8-1 then. Gold Strategy, 7-year-old debut, 24 start at Oaklawn.
This is who I like. I liked her last effort and have a little more recency now. I think she's a major, major player.
Double Daddy issues.
Yeah, going to have to run a little faster than what we've seen from her, but not completely out of the frame.
Courageous Cap'n, last pair near misses at 21 and 42-1.
Yeah, and that was for 10 and 12.5, and now she's moving all the way up to 25.
Walkaway K, the class edge.
Certainly. Listen, she's a very good filly. She wasn't badly beaten against Open and the Mockingbird, but she is a 3-year-old against Elders.
Y City graduated in her 12th start, followed by Sending, aptly named Quick Mare.
Will have speed, although they're taking the blinkers off, and sometimes it's an indication of trying to get a horse to relax more.
Miss Macy, tall order on paper, getting bet a little bit.
Yeah, John Ortiz is always going to take money here at Oaklawn. Very popular horse trainer.
She's storming 24-1 Theft right here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that was for 12.5 at a big price, and now she's moving up twice that number. Hard to see her repeat that effort against Tougher.
Walkaway K, 7-5, trained by Danny Pish. Standing by live with Megan.
That's right, a talented filly in Walkaway K. But Danny, you've just had a great week. You got a couple of first-time starters in the winner's circle, but this filly seems like you've always had confidence in her ability.
Well, she showed talent from the start, and you know, you can't teach that. She just had it, and it's a good thing.
She's stepping down in class off of that Mockingbird. What have her performances in those stakes shown you about her?
That she's very gutsy, because the second performance, although it wasn't all that impressive, it was impressive to me because she hung in, tried hard, and then I was thrilled to see that it even produced a lifetime high number, so I knew I wasn't interpreting that wrong.
It's Eric Asmussen aboard. Tactically, where do you see her fit in this race?
I see her mid-pack to stalking.
Perfect. Best of luck. I'm a fan of her, and congratulations yesterday as momentum building here at Oaklawn.
Thank you.
Lafitte?
Barn going well, Megan. Danny Pish, Walkaway K, the favorite. And this is what he was talking about. Her second career start, the Astral Spa opening weekend of the holiday meet, Richie. And unfortunately for Walkaway K, she runs into the good Counting Stars. But like Danny was talking about, she hangs in there.
Yeah, and again, this was against the good Counting Stars. When she's good, she's very good. When she's bad, she's very bad. But I understand what he's saying, that he liked the effort. She didn't cave in. She took her best shot, couldn't get by the leader. Sometimes horses will just kind of give up at that point. She stayed on resolutely. That speaks to her gameness, her determination.
Circling back to the weight aspect, could you expand on that a little bit, Walkaway K and jockey Eric Asmussen?
Well, there's a scale of weights, and horses, younger horses, 3-year-olds this time of year facing, 4 or 5, even in this race, up to 8-year-olds.
It's early for that to be happening.
It's early. They're just not quite as mature. So to try to keep it fair, the racing secretaries years ago came up with a scale where younger horses this time of year would get a big break in the weights. If Eric Asmussen could do 111. Most riders can't do 111 anymore anyway.
He's tall.
Then she'd be getting anywhere from 7 to 13 pounds, because the high weight would be 124. So it kind of mitigates that advantage, but maybe she's just too talented anyway.
And this is the first time he's ridden Walkaway K. Does it surprise you that Pish goes to Asmussen knowing he can't get that weight break?
Well, the way Eric's been riding, I really feel like he's taken his game to another level, and I talk about it often, Lafitte. A rider has to have a certain amount of cockiness, arrogance, right? You got to have some swagger. I see a lot of swagger in Eric Asmussen right now, and he's really riding in tremendous form.
Aboard the favorite here, Walkaway K, 6-5, strictly the one to beat, Maggie, but no such thing as a sure thing. Some of the others, Rockin' the Lane, who down from that 20-1 morning line number 3, 8-1 currently for Chris Hartman.
Yeah, she's taking money for a barn that does tend to win a lot of races. As I was walking up, Dan Ward's right here, guys. As he pointed out to me, he said, Maggie, now what is going on in this race? What is interesting? He said, well, A lot of these horses are by street strategy, and actually the three I'll talk about are by that sire here standing in Arkansas. Taking a look at number 8, and that is Rockin' the Lane, Lafitte, as you said. Now, last time she got the win tenaciously on the front end, showing speed. I think that will likely be the same scenario just because she is so sharp here. She's been on her toes throughout the paddock and out on the racetrack, and she looks fast, and it looks like she's developing. You know, sometimes you can really tell the 3-year-olds against the older horses. Not necessarily with her. She has some size. She has some substance to her. We'll see how she does facing winners for the first time. Obviously, she's going to have to get a bit faster. As we'll move on to the venerable 7-year-old looking for her 6th career win. And start number 37 is number 4, Gold Strategy. She got okay, to say the least, towards the tail end of the meet last year. It spilled over to Monmouth, where she ran credibly. Now, she was coming back off a little bit of a break in her last start. She was towards the rear early, kind of lost a little bit more ground going into the turn. Then she got back into it at the quarter pole, but she didn't switch leads down the lane, and that's not something she generally does. So I didn't love to see that, but I did like what I saw from her in the prelims. Maybe it was just a case of having to shake off a bit of ring rust here. And also, she is sprinting again. I wonder if, too, she ultimately does want a little bit more ground, because she's just a big mare. And I've written that in my notes before, that it feels like longer might be better for her. As we'll move on to a long shot, and that's number 10. She's at 16-1 up there, Miss Macy. Now, it's a little bit counterintuitive. I don't love the turn back for her because she is enormous. She is big, she is leggy. They put the blinkers on, though, where I think that's a smart move, because she was kind of idling when in and amongst horses, but once the horse passed her on her outside in the lane last time, she kind of jumped back into the bridle a bit more. So we'll see if those blinkers kind of give her the inclination to just keep running forward, not waiting for horses to pass or to follow them. She was moving exceptionally well on the racetrack. Like I said, I'm not in love with the fact that she's turning back, but she's made a great impression for a long shot, Lafitte.
Big filly Miss Macy. Can she trigger the upset in this 8th race at Oaklawn Park? Really good crowd on this eve of the Rebel Stakes this Saturday afternoon at Oaklawn Park. And as a rider out there, Richie, again, something the athletes, something the jockeys really feed off as well.
It's nice to play to a full house. You know, a lot of racetracks, they're not huge attendances. There's like more wagering going on off-site or, you know, through ADWs, Naira Bets, right? But you kind of get caught up in the energy, the atmosphere, and you know, look at that. Even if you get tired through the day, and it's tiring to ride horses all day, particularly on less than ideal amount of calories, the crowd keeps you going. It really does. It picks you up. Riding in Saratoga, you could ride the entire card in Saratoga, and the energy from the crowd is what sustained me.
It's nice to throw a party and people actually show up.
Yes.
Right? And they show up in a big way here at Oaklawn Park. Rebel Stakes tomorrow. A little bit later on in Aqueduct, final Gotham Stakes. One of the final preps leading up to the Wood Memorial, and the last one at the Big A. We'll have that for you live with the Razorback a little bit later on this evening. But first, Walkaway K in this 8th race. Even money here early on. What are you looking for? What should our viewers be looking for as far as her being situated to maximize her potential and run her best?
On a 10-horse field, you want to get away clean. You don't want to get shuffled back. I do think she'll be outfooted a little bit. She's more of a kind of stalk closing type. And this is the first time she's ever facing Arkansas bred, albeit her elders in the Arkansas bred ranks.
She is 4-5, the odds-on favorite. Walkaway K to Matt Dinneman with the call. 8th race from Oaklawn Park, live.
2 back, Courageous Cap'n. And to the outside, she's Storming, rounding out the group of 10. Here she's Storming coming up to the gate with Jane Elliott. We're ready to go. And we're off. Double Daddy Issues away a little bit sluggishly, drops to the rear. One way or another in the green silks is flashing early speed. Sending is in a line with Rock in the Lane. Rock in the Lane strides out, takes the lead. Sending second, one way or another, taken back to third with Miss Macy, who's deep on the course. She's storming. Walk Away Kay, the favorite next. She's running 7 behind with a half mile to go. 2.5 back to Courageous Cap'n. Gold Strategy second to last. Double Daddy Issues at the tail end of the field with Y City as they go into the far turn. Rock in the Lane is speedy. Leads a length and a half here. Miss Macy claiming the second position from the long shot Sending, who's going in the wrong direction. One way or another about to pass her. She's under a ride. 3 from the lead with 5/16 to go. 4 back to Walk Away Kay, passing She's Storming. The others well out of it as they come to the top of the stretch. One way or another making a bold bid on the outside to come and grab the lead with 3/16 to go. One way or another streaking away from the competition. Miss Macy second. Walk Away Kay into third. Approaching the 16th pole. One way or another, clear by 4 with a 16th to go. Walk Away Kay trying to get up into second, but nobody's beating one way or another. Francisco Arrieta with a double today. Walk Away Kay closes, gets second. Third across the finish, Miss Macy. Tight for fourth, Gold Strategy, Courageous Cap'n.
Now you really want to sing it. Blondie fans, one way or another, in the 8th. At Oaklawn Park, closing at 7-2.
Well, she got away clean this time. Last time she kind of popped the gate right at the split second the start came. And she probably got a lot out of that race from a physical fitness standpoint. She hadn't run since August and gets it done. Nice ride, Francisco Arrieta. Last year's leading rider here at the Oaklawn Park meeting. And he's gaining traction. He got off to a little bit of a slow start, but he is really gaining traction now. And this was a nice effort by one way or another.
Crop uncocked. Francisco Arrieta, one way or another. Walk Away Kay chasing in vain, finishing in second. What did you make of her overall performance?
I think she just came up second best. She ran well. I think she got a decent trip. She didn't have much speed, but didn't expect it. And she just kind of ran on evenly. It's very difficult for a 3-year-old to take on older horses this time of the year. You can go back to a horse named Stagehand, won the Santa Anita Handicap as a 3-year-old, but he was assigned 100 pounds. And then he also came back and won the Santa Anita Derby, the only horse to ever win both of those in the same year.
And not able to take advantage of the weight break. In this case, second place finish in the end, but defeated as an odds-on favorite, 2-7-10-6 here at Oaklawn Park. Meantime, the 3-year-olds have reached the paddock for the Gotham, that winding road to the Kentucky Derby. This one from New York to Louisville. All eyes on Iron Honor. The Gotham, final Gotham at Aqueduct is next.
Lore, Devil is Due. Lore, what a victory in the Gotham in 1992, and of course would go on to win back-to-back runnings of the Breeders' Cup Mile on grass.
Lore had run brilliantly fast as a 2-year-old, and they thought he was going to be a top 3-year-old third horse. It just didn't quite pan out. Devil is Due just ran terrific every time he won the Wood Memorial after this, but of course Lure turned into one of the great American grass horses of all time. I was here that day. That was a great race. Another one is a Proud Appeal, maybe Cure the Blues, I think, in the Gotham, hitting the wire together. It was another great run in the Gotham. There's some great runnings in the Gotham over the years.
Some great ones. The last Gotham winner to go and win the Derby, of course, the Great Secretariat. But yeah, Dr. Fager, Easy Goer, Native Dancer, more recently Deterministic, who became a multiple graded stakes winner on the grass as well.
And Easy Goer won the Derby, right? I thought he did.
New Yorkers will tell you that he did.
I think he did. Yeah, I think that's a lie. I've heard people say he lost, but I don't actually believe that happened.
Grade 3 Gotham, 1-turn mile, and this just happened. Andy had pointed it out while we were away. Someone just put a massive bet on the Italian Stallion.
I thought it was 50,000 on Rocky Balboa down the inside, but a friend of mine said it was 60. Skewing the odds dramatically. Wow.
This is the horse to beat, though, no question. Iron Honor for trainer Chad Brown, a huge debut coming at the end of his 2-year-old season. He was very impressive, and now he'll try and go longer in his 3-year-old return.
Yeah, you know, I have no problem with people trying to beat favorites. I have some people I respect. They're trying to beat them. I just don't agree with them. I think speed was good, but I also think the rail was really the place to be that day, and that's where the third finisher, Right to Party, was down on the rail. And I thought he ran extremely well in here. He's been training well for Chad Brown, and he's supposed to be forward in this race. I just think I think a horse is going to have to step forward and run better than he's ever run before, in all likelihood, to beat him.
8-5 right now. Manny Franco will ride for the 3-year-old debut. Let's go downstairs to Acacia.
And he was very impressive on debut, but he does have to step up to stakes company for the first time and do it at a longer distance. I got a chance in Florida at Payson Park to catch up with trainer Chad Brown about what he expects from Iron Honor in the Gotham today.
He's certainly bred to do it. He acts like he wants to. He's actually never acted like a fast horse. He ran really well. Actually surprised me he was able to get it done at 6 furlongs. So he's acted like a horse that wanted at least a mile. So I'm excited to see him stretch out. He's had a good month. The last month in particular here at Payson, he's starting to really move well and acts like he wants to run again. I was looking at that New York trail for him, and I did consider after his race just momentarily to leave him up there, and thank God I didn't with the winter they've had up there. So he's done good here in the sunshine and warm weather, and he's returned safely to New York.
And looking at him here in the paddock, I can understand what Chad Brown was saying about being surprised to see this horse win sprinting first time out. He is a big individual, and Chad had said he doesn't look like a quick sprinter type, and that is very accurate. I love the added ground for Iron Honor. I think he should appreciate going longer. He talked about how he's been training down in Florida. You can watch his most recent workout on First TV, where he was inside actually a 5-year-old, but last out maiden winner, who had been kind of knocking at the door in playing tricks. And I thought he was going better than his company every step of the way when training. Incredibly fit coming in, as you hear Richie often say with horses coming up to Florida, has their Florida tan on. So all good things for Iron Honor in his second start coming back here today. Looking at the 2 Hammond, though, who is a relatively intriguing new face. Won on a wet track first in his maiden race in his second start, and then did win the juvenile sprint 2 starts back. Solitude Dude will run in the Fountain of Youth today, and Hammond did not have a good start last time out. Antsy in the gate, I think just maybe mentally still figuring things out too. Looking at him, he seems to have kind of that boyish demeanor still here in the paddock, and it's interesting. He has a lot of substance to him. I don't have any problem with the mile for him, but I'm wondering if it's a little bit of a horse that needed a bit of time. We saw the progeny of Charlatan last year in the 2-year-old sales in particular sell so well and then be a massive disappointment early on. But a lot of sharp consigners and buyers that I've spoken to are of the firm belief that they're going to be more 3-year-olds with time and distance as well. And that's what Charlatan himself was. We started to see it recently, and Hammond really kind of checks all those boxes that might be the case. I think he's a bit interesting if he can be more focused, especially at the start today, Greg.
Thank you, Acacia. Hammond at 10-1 right now, double-digit odds. Get a money-back guarantee in this race. Bet $10 to win on any horse in the Gotham, and you'll get that money back if your horse finishes second. Little insurance for you. Opt in at NyraBets.com to take advantage.
You can do that in the Fountain of Youth, too, as well today, where I like the favorite there as well. I think that Hammond is the other horse in here that I would use. I thought he ran pretty well last time. He blew the brake, and I thought he ran well. To me, it was a big improvement for him, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, that was another reason I landed on the favorite is it was hard to make a case for some of the other ones. I mean, I think if you wanted, I think people will probably try to make a case for Right to Party, who came back and won out of that Iron Honor race. But if you like Right to Party, don't you got to like Iron Honor a little bit more?
I don't like Right to Party. Be honest, I don't like the race he comes out of. My other horses are Crown the Buckeye, who I like cutting back to the one turn, and 4th and 1.
Balboa still the favorite. Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell.
Yeah, I was disappointed. She lost to My World at 3-5 last time. I think his Remsen was good, not his last race.
Husband-wife team there with Balboa. Here is Hammond. Staffy Joseph Jr. trains.
If you like this one, keep an eye at the break. This horse has broken slow on a number of occasions.
Ohio bred. Next door out of a Grade 1 winning sprinter, Yaupon, Crown the Buckeye.
I actually think this one is very interesting cutting back, and he's shown he can rate to win.
Next door, big price, 4th and 1, trained by Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Yeah, this would be the definition of just taking a shot in a big race.
He had a ridiculous trip last time, this horse.
25-1. He'd been effective up until that Withers. Right to Party. So faced Iron Honor, was way behind him in the debut, but did come back and win.
Maybe he'll take a step forward. Jimmy Jerkins essentially training him and just didn't like his maiden win. I thought it was not a good race.
Here is the one to beat. Iron Honor for Chad Brown.
Yeah, I loved hearing from Chad in that interview where he said that this horse didn't even really look very fast, was able to win at 6.5, and felt like a horse that's going to appreciate going further.
First time on dirt going long, exhibition only, was a winner at Aqueduct.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like him last time, but he did take advantage of a big bias to get that exaggerated fig.
And a winner of a sprint stake at Oaklawn, the Advent, Dirty Rich, speed from the outside for Peter Miller.
He's supposed to be the speed. If he doesn't go, Iron Honor is going to wire the field, but he is supposed to go. But I have trouble getting a mile with this horse.
Derby points on the line, Grade 3. Gotham, let's go back to Acacia.
And here with trainer Brittany Russell, who does send out Balboa from the rail. You just said he's a lot of animal, and he is. He's been able to kind of be effective at a variety of distances, though. How do you think he's going to handle the mile again today?
I mean, look, I think the question today is going to be the rail and how he breaks. Obviously he has some gas, and it would be nice to see him break, get into a rhythm. There's speed on the outside. Hopefully Sheldon can just kind of get him out there and let him get comfortable.
I know he got run down last time. I imagine a little bit of a disappointing effort from him, but he still ran kind of a comparable type of figure race than he had been running previously. How has he been since that last effort?
Yeah, he's been great. He's trained well. Obviously we've been able to give him a little bit more time coming into this one, and, he's worked right along, stayed on a schedule. So, I'm optimistic that that'll help today.
Thank you for the time. Good luck.
Thank you.
Greg?
Brittany Russell made history in Maryland, terrific trainer, and Balboa hanging in there at 9-5. Now second choice, though.
Tough to go up that far when you get $60,000 bet to win on you. Obviously, you're going to see a big favorite here. I wanted to go back to 4th and 1 for a second. I think he's the kind of horse could be 3rd or 4th in a Tri or Super. His races weren't great, but they weren't that bad, 2 and 3 back. And he just had this ridiculous outside trip against the bias last time. And he seems like the kind of horse you could do worse than throw in for a piece. Because other than the favorite here, nobody in here has run that fast, Jonathan.
No, he's certainly one that could spice things up because his form just does look pretty dirty. But if you look back at his 2-year-old races, those figures weren't too far off from where some of these other horses were at that stage of their career.
And we just heard from Brittany Russell. Let's remember, Chad Brown, he has the leader on the Derby leaderboard right now. That's Paladin. This horse was 3rd to Paladin, JK. 2 starts back in the Grade 2 Remsen. Does that factor in at all for you?
It would if I hadn't seen Balboa run since. But since I saw Balboa run in the Jerome, I'll just take that form as to who Balboa is, and that race doesn't seem fast enough compared to some of these other ones.
That was the 3-year-old debut early January, back on January 3rd. And we'll see if he's grown up and improved since that time. 2-1 as you see him on your screen right there with Brittany's husband Sheldon Russell in the irons for SF Racing, Starlight and Matacat. But the 6-5 favorite, the one we now even money all thought would be and should be the favorite by post time, and that is Iron Honor. start number 2. Big expectations with a horse that did look so good first time out, but they got to prove it on the racetrack, and you're giving up a lot of experience here.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I picked the 6, Jonathan picked him, but I think we both understand. Somebody wants to take a shot with him. The horse ran once, and they don't always go forward off those races. I think the problem is, Jonathan, if he regresses. You think that figure's a little bit high. I don't have a big issue with it. I still think he's going to beat this field unless he just doesn't show up, and he's not coming from a barn that usually doesn't show up.
Based on 2 horses coming back and winning, I think you can kind of trust the figure to a certain extent. I mean, ask me for sure in about 3 minutes. However, I will say this. A lot of times in situations like this, where you have a horse who won impressively first time out sprinting and then they're trying to go longer, a lot of times it's the opposite, where they're horses that are probably more conditioned to sprint and then you're asking them to go longer. Those are great bet against. There's the other situation, which is this, is where they win sprinting, but they're actually meant to go longer. Those are the ones I think sometimes you can build tickets around. And look, do I think this is the greatest wager you could ever make it even money? No. Probably not the greatest wager of all time, but I do think he's going to win.
But you're saying what Jack Brown said, and, that he feels like the horse won on talent last time.
Now, we have an Ohio bred in this field as well, aptly named. For more, let's go to Acacia on Crown the Buckeye.
Yeah, I love the name, given the fact that he is an Ohio bred on a horse that's coming in after trying the Triple Crown Trail over at the fairgrounds in his last couple of starts. He ran very well in the Gun Runner and then disappointed in the Lecomte. But in general, horses out of the Gun Runner into Lecomte did not fare well. And he broke running onto the lead and ended up just kind of fading last time out. I like a little bit less ground for him. This is, I think, a perfect spot for this horse. To me, he's kind of one of the other horses in here as well. He obviously needs to show that he can turn it around, but I think he has some natural speed. For a horse that's so quick out of the gate as he is, pretty laid back and chill customer, but very compact, very short coupled in the way that he's put together. Look, I'm under no illusions. The favorite looked sensational warming up out there in Iron Honor. We'll see if he can step forward in just his second start, Greg.
Most years, just about any of your 50 points, which the winner will get here, is good enough to get you into that Derby starting gate, but whether you want to move on or not is the question. Grade 3 Gotham on the road to the Derby. Iron Honor the favorite. Here's Chris Griffin with the call.
And they're off at Aqueduct in the Grade 3 Gotham. Dirty Rich sprints clear right to the front. Exhibition only moves immediately to the outside. So those 2 outer markers now well out in the far outside part of the racetrack, and Iron Honor is going to slip on through. Iron Honor is now in the early mix, and towards the inside, that's Crown the Buckeye. A 4-way battle for the front. 4th and 1, a little keen in behind horses there is going to move out to the center, far outside portion of the track as well. Orange cap, that's Hammond. It's going to save all the ground in behind rivals. Towards the back end of the field, Balboa and the Triller. Right to Party. No easy leads in the Gotham. 23.09 for the opening quarter mile. Iron Honor goes at it with Crown the Buckeye, who holds that rail position with a head in front. Iron Honor continues to stalk now. 3 wide is going to be Dirty Rich, is losing some ground, is under the shove. Ground saving journey, Hammond and Jamie Rodriguez, they're on the move. A 4-wide rally from Exhibition only through a 46.30 half-mile time. 4th and 1 is on the move. Balboa, nothing yet, just towards the back end of the field, and Right to Party. They're approaching the top of the stretch, a quarter mile left to go, and Crown the Buckeye still there. Iron Honor with every shot to run by the leader, but Crown the Buckeye still continues on and battles on Iron Honor. Iron Honor to the outside, Crown the Buckeye to the inside, noses apart here in the Gotham. It's Iron Honor now with a neck advantage. Crown the Buckeye is resilient. Iron Honor almost there. Iron Honor now 2 for 2 and wins the Gotham. Iron Honor over Crown the Buckeye, Right to Party. And Exhibition only 1 minute 37.94 seconds.
Iron Honor by a length in the Grade 3 Gotham. 50 points to get into the starting gate in this year's Kentucky Derby. He's now 2 for 2.
I thought it was a very good effort by both the first two finishers near Jonathan. It was an honest pace, not a wicked fast pace, but they hung in very well. And if you compare it to the time, it was about 3/5 of a second slower than the very good older horses ran the last race. A race could easily have got a mid-90s or so buyer. So it's probably a figure that's going to come back close to a 90. Solid effort by both these horses.
Certainly throws himself into the conversation for the Kentucky Derby. Now, I think that one of the things you'll want to see next, and not to jump ahead, I mean, obviously you should celebrate this win. Now the next test is going to be the 1 1/8. If he can pass that test and do it the way that he's passed these first two tests, he certainly is a horse that could be interesting come the first Saturday in May.
You want $1 of my 122 to 1 on him in the Kentucky Derby, Jonathan?
Did he look to you like a horse who was building momentum as the further he was going?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look like he was slowing down. I mean, he also didn't have a bad trip. He had a good trip. He didn't have to overcome much adversity outside of, going from 6.5 furlongs to a mile in his second career start.
I thought they both ran really well, and I think Crown the Buckeye, because he was the one under the gun, and as you say, I think it was an honest pace, not a slow pace, but not a super fast pace. But I thought they both ran very well. Right to Party was the only horse that made up any ground, and he was a distant third. He kind of finished the same place behind the winner as he did in the maiden race.
6'3", 5'7", Iron Honor, now 2 for 2. Graded stakes winner, and again, 50 Derby points. Manny Franco with his third win of the afternoon, teaming up with 5-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer Chad Brown, who is the Derby favorite right now as well.
A surging debut at 2. An international tour de force. An explosive winner of 2 sire-making Grade 1 races.
Raging Torrent running the race of his life. And Raging Torrent and Frankie Dettori cruise to victory in the Malibu. Raging Torrent's coming out party is in the Metropolitan Handicap.
Raging Torrent, the next wave in the Lane's End stallion-making tradition.
The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com. Join analysts Matthew DeSantis and Kaylee Shapiro on the road to the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. Get picks and analysis for all the prep races and gain insight into promising contenders on the trail to the Derby and Oaks. That and more on the Naira Bets YouTube channel.
Here comes that big gray Tappet Trice right down the outside.
Tappet Trice wins the Toyota Bluegrass. Tappet Trice's 2024 debut was awesome. Tappet Trice is lunging. Tappet Trice wins the Woodward.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Wall-to-wall 3-year-olds on America's Day at the Races. Welcome back. Gotham in New York. Sophomores here at Oaklawn Park making the turn. $150,000 optional claimers. 6 of them Triple Crown nominated. You're looking at Crupper, 16-1 maiden winner. He is improving.
He is improving and just marginally improving every start. We'll need to, again, making a nice physical appearance.
It's all right. Number 2, only 1 for sale if you have $150K laying around.
And he's fast. I mean, he's sprint kind of fast, stretching to the mile in the 16th.
Treadstone, make the rider Luis Quinones.
Yeah, listen, his last race was good. He was only beaten a half a length, and I thought he stayed on well.
54-yarder, all about family, $400,000 colt.
Yeah, again, another one. Kind of ran evenly, but ran okay stretching to the 2 turns for the first time.
Our Magical Moon, Charlotte Weber's $500,000 colt, 2-1 current favorite. More on him in a moment. Top level, impressive maiden win, but closing in a sprint.
And the mare ran 4.5 furlongs at Charlestown and has thrown predominantly sprinters.
Exosome, last start on dirt, finished 6th in the Lecomte at Fairgrounds, then Swift Blade, Juddmonte Homebred for Brad Cox.
Yeah, Broca's maiden impressively on turf. The Grand Dam is Close Hatches, who is a terrific dirt runner for Juddmonte and has worked very well on dirt. It's a little bit of a hard read for me. I guess you got to have confidence in Brad Cox that the horse is trained well enough on dirt to show up here.
Easy to have confidence in trainer Brad Cox. Exciting race, promising 3-year-olds, expensive colts, and Our Magical Moon among them. This was 2 starts back right here at Oaklawn Park. Opening weekend, Richie, in a daylight maiden score in his 4th career start, Our Magical Moon.
Yeah, he was very impressive. Now, listen, he got a very fast pace to run into, so it was going to be more visually impressive because a lot of horses behind him, their strides were really deteriorating for having battled early. But this was a nice effort. But if you like the 5 Magical Moon at 2-1, don't you have to like the 4 54-yarder at a bigger price? They were a neck apart last time, and it was only 54-yarder second start and first time stretching out.
54-yarder, Rafael Bejarano looking for a second win on the afternoon. Our Magical Moon, 2-1 favorite here. Jose Ortiz to ride. When's this Mark Casse barn going to get going this meet finally at Oaklawn this winter?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's cooled off a bit. He's down to just winning it at 40% at the stand.
Winning everything. A sweep so far in the Derby Preps. Marty Jones, Southwest, has 2 running tomorrow in the Rebel. We check in with Megan.
Well, Lafitte, I've actually got some inside information on the number 8 Swift Blade, because you're right, Richie, it's kind of hard on paper to determine if he's going to take to the dirt as well as he did in that victory of that 82 Beyer speed figure on the grass last time out. Looking at him physically, he doesn't look overtly turf meant. His second dam of the great Close Hatches, he looks absolutely fantastic on track, and according to connections, this race, pending the results, of course, should be a stepping stone to potentially a Triple Crown type race, considering potentially the Arkansas Derby, as this horse was formerly a probable for the Rebel. But Lafitte, I think this horse has talent and is one to watch with a fair price.
Swift Blade, those famed Juddmonte colors. Exciting race. Remember, it was this weekend. It was Rebel Stakes Day. A season ago, we were introduced to Cornucopian, eventual odds-on favorite. In his second career start, odds-on favorite in the Arkansas Derby. Okay, so it didn't work out, but still, exciting 3-year-olds next year at Oaklawn Park. Closing in on post time, we check in with Maggie Horseback.
And pleased to be out here on the Oaklawn track as I'm aboard Chewy here. Thanks to Jesus Blanco, otherwise known as Chewy, for lending me him today. But taking a look here at Our Magical Moon, he's a horse that I remember from Saratoga. He used to get really wound up with the energy of Saratoga. Well, guess what? The energy here at Oaklawn is much like that. So it unsettled him a bit in the paddock. They had to take him outside to get the tack on him. He has calmed down a bit since getting out here on track, but still wish he was a little bit more relaxed. Now moving on to number 6, Top Level, who will try routing on the dirt for the first time. The other Mark Casse horse, I prefer this one. I thought this guy looked tremendous. And looking at him physically, I know upstarts might tilt a little more to this sprints. He looks as though he could handle this stretch out in distance. We saw Christian Torres warm him up quite aggressively and has now linked back up with the pony, and he's settled right down. He is a picture here on the main track. I would think he's going to be forwardly placed here. And then the horse coming in for Kelsey Danner is Exosome, who returns to the dirt. Now, the last time we saw him doing that was in the Grade 3 Lecomte, where we saw horses, I think, more towards the inside have a better run of it. The winner that day closed from well off of it, Golden Tempo, and he rode the rail, whereas Exosome, while at the back, was out wide throughout. Now he puts blinkers on, a short cup cheater blinker, but this is a good looking son of Candy Ride. A lot of size, scope, and substance to him. I think getting back to this main track with a little bit more of a fairer trip, that equipment change could put him right in the mix, Lafitte.
Perhaps, yes, on a better part of the track. Exosome 8-1 currently. Francisco Arrieta having a productive Saturday afternoon, Oaklawn Park. You have talked yourself into 54-yarder. Richie, explain.
Well, because when I handicapped the races, last night, Our Magical Moon was going to be my top selection. But the more I looked at it, 54-yarder maybe has potentially more upside as far as improvement. Went from a 6-furlong maiden race right to the mile and a 16th. Ran well, was a neck behind Our Magical Moon. And with that experience, doesn't it feel like maybe this horse could take a bigger step forward?
Absolutely. At a much, much better price, 8-1 at post time. Filing in 3-year-olds, mile and a 16th, $125,000 purse, top level. Let's see if he's as effective in a 2-turn race as he was as a late-running sprinter in his maiden score early February. Matt Dinnerman with the call, race 9, live from Oaklawn.
Cox Barn, 9-2 for Swift Blade. 3-year-old here. Allowance affair. We're ready to go. And we're off. Good beginning. It's all right. Blasts out of post 2. He's going to stride in front coming out of a sprint race here. He's naturally quickest in this route. Here's a line right behind him. 54-yarder in the bridle, strides into second with Our Magical Moon as they corner. Exosum is 4 deep. Swift Blade farther out. 5 wide around the clubhouse turn here. Crupper right behind the pace setters. He's 2 lengths off the lead. The Great Treadstone is next and having a steady top level. The favorite top level had to check around the first turn, drops to the back and gets to the rail. He's 6 lengths behind as they make their way up the back stretch. It's all right. Clear on the lead. Not a fast pace he's setting here. A length and a quarter ahead here. In second, 54-yarder, Exosum is placed 3 deep. Length back to Crupper. Our Magical Moon, Treadstone there together. 3 from the lead. Another 2 to top level. Swift Blade dropping to the rear as the 8 runners head towards the half-mile pole. It's all right. Still on top. 3 parts of a length, went 47-4 for the half. 54-yarder in a good spot, no excuses. Second, Exosum, 3 wide going into the turn. He's with him. Then comes Crupper, Our Magical Moon, Treadstone. Those 3 across the track, rounding the far turn. They're 2 better than top level. And Swift Blade, who's come under a hard ride at the back of the field. Around the far turn they go. It's all right. Nose in front. 54-yarder right there. Exosum, Treadstone trying to run a big one 4 wide, but he's under a hard ride to do it. Crupper right behind the leader, searching for racing room. Our Magical Moon doesn't look like he's being persevered with as they come down the lane. Exosum at a price 6-1 pounces and takes the lead from It's All Right. Here comes top level trying to find his best stride now into second, and he's charging after Exosum. Exosum 16th to go, the leader. Top level diving to the inside to try to get him. Exosum in front from top level. Exosum, Francisco Arrieta with a hat trick. Gets it over top level Crupper and Swift Blade, who is 4th.
That's what happens apparently when he's not on the worst part of the racetrack, as Maggie indicated. Exosum, last start on dirt in the LeComp. Today, winner at Oaklawn Park. 6-1 in the end. Francisco Arrieta, 3 wins on the afternoon.
Yeah, Francisco having a nice day. Exosum gets it done. Very game. He might have been aided a little bit by the trouble that top level had early in the race, and then having to alter course to his inside through the stretch. But nice call by Maggie with Exosum. And the LeComp is starting to look like a pretty strong race, because you had Crown the Buckeye run second in the Gotham, and then this horse wins.
What are we looking at here, Richie? A neck worth of trouble for top level, the favorite? Last in with the red cap?
Yeah, when you saw the 8 Swift Blade angle in, he wasn't quite clear of top level, and Christian Torres had a steady and then duck down to the inside, and it just cost him some position. And when you get beat a neck, you've got to think it had a somewhat of a say in the outcome.
Figured to be back there regardless, even though stretching out, running longer. But he doesn't win, but I think still, for Mark Casse, has to be pleased with the effort. Just his 3rd career start, encountered a little trouble, still fired. And all right, so he looked like a really good late-running sprinter in his maiden win, stretching out, running farther. Another solid effort, though defeated in the end.
Yeah, but I think he proved that he can stay the 2 turns, right? And that was a big question for me, just because the mare that had predominantly produced sprinters, and she actually ran 4.5 furlongs herself, but this horse stays.
Exosum for trainer Kelsey Danner, ridden by Francisco Arrieta, live with Maggie.
Here with Francisco Arrieta and Exosum. Francisco, he jumped into the bridle with you from the get-go with those blinkers on.
Well, he really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting more speed in the race, but he took a great jump, and I tried just to give him a nice and easy trip, and about the 3 airports start moving forward, and he keep going. He did a great job.
And really a big horse. We were just saying how good he looked pre-race.
Yeah, he was looking great in the paddock and in the post break. I get lucky today. Thanks God and thanks all the connection and Kelsey for giving me the opportunity.
You've been lucky a lot, especially today with your third win. Francisco, we saw you considering leaving Oaklawn last year, and yet you made it to the top of the leaderboard again this year doing the same thing. Talk a little bit about Oaklawn and what it means to you.
Well, sometimes things are going, not the right way, but it can change from one way to another. I was doing okay, and then I started doing great. Thanks God. Well, I really like Arkansas. This is home base for me. My family will love here, so hopefully we can continue to have success for here.
I think you got 2 little fans with you. Your daughters are here, right?
Right, yes. They came today to watch the races. I'm very happy for that.
And cheering their daddy home. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Watching Dad clean up. Weather heats up in Hot Springs, and so does Francisco Arrieta, closing with a flourish last season, and here with Exosum finding his best stride, strikes the front in the stretch at Oaklawn.
Yeah, he got to wandering just a touch when he hit the front. You can see he's going to drift out now. He was well clear of the runner-up, the 6-horse top level. But I think that he certainly ran to his looks, and Maggie talked about it. I mean, she called the shot. This is a big strapping son of Candy Ride. Really, look at how solid this individual is all the way through.
7-6-1-8 Exosum. And yeah, Arrieta, there's a terrific story last year. A struggle early on in the meet, closing with a rush, an eventual Oaklawn riding champion in 2025. 3 wins thus far on the afternoon, and we still have the main event still ahead. Magnitude. Morning line favorite for the Razorback. On his way over. First 3-year-old to defeat older horses in the Clarkson's Gun Runner back in 2016. Magnitude, considered one of the most promising older horses in 2026. What will he do in the Razorback? And how about Iron Honor? 2 for 2. Last Gotham at Aqueduct. Manny Franco, Chad Brown, Iron Honor in the Gotham.
Right around the corner, your final chance to see the third and final leg of the Triple Crown at historic Saratoga Racecourse. Tickets on sale now for Belmont Stakes week at the Spa.
Are you going to wear that outfit again, Greg? I mean, I thought you looked great in that.
Thank
a lot
you,
of people
I
couldn't pull
appreciate
it
that.
off, but I don't know.
See if I can run it again. What a week it was. The first edition was incredible. Lived up to expectations once again, and now your final chance to be part of the action in early June. Hope to see you there. Andy and I, we know we'll be there. I don't know about JK.
He's not. He's at Aqueduct. He's covering it from down here. He wants to get the flavor of the crowd at Aqueduct. He asked, actually.
These connections be there. Iron Honor looked impressive today.
I hope he's going to the Triple Crown. I'll cash my future bet.
50 Derby points to get into that Derby starting gate, winning for Chad Brown, St. Elias Stable, Manny Franco. Winner Circle lead-in brought to you by Facing Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital platform for thoroughbreds. Learn more about our auction schedule at digital.facingtipton.com. Let's get digital. So Iron Honor now 2 for 2. Debut win, 6 furlongs out of his 2-year-old campaign, now successful at a 1-turn mile. We will see what comes next. Crown the Buckeye second, right to party third. And this was the only horse, by the way, that would have resulted in the pick 6 getting hit.
Yes, so probably 2 or 3 winners getting 38,000. Congrats.
Let's go to Acacia, who caught up with Manny Franco.
Here with winning rider Manny Franco, who piloted Iron Honor to victory. And your third win today, Manny. Not a bad day at all here with the Gotham, but of course, winning a race like that and picking up some Kentucky Derby points. It's be really validating to see how this horse was able to take that jump forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm happy with the way this horse performed today. Chad had him ready. We like the horse since the beginning, and I'm just happy that he's developed to the right way, you know. Today was a big ask for him, but he handled it nice, so I think we're in good shape with him.
Chad had said he was almost a little surprised with how quick he had run first time out when sprinting, and seeming like this is more what he really wants to do.
Yeah, the first time, you know, when he run a horse, he tried to, you know, get a race probably, and then the second start he'll be ready. But this horse won the first time. So when that happened, I think he got a good one. So he was right. The horse won, and now, like I say, it's a big step up, and he handled it the right way. And he's in good hands. Chad knows what he's doing, and I'm happy to be on him today.
And he really fought for you in the stretch, too. You had to have a little bit of a battle there. Talk me through what your feelings were throughout the stretch.
Yeah, I like him, you know, because the last time he did the same, you know, when he was going by the other horse, he keep fighting with the other horse. But today, at the same time, I you know, the other horse was hanging in there, but I know that I got horse under me. He just, you know, figure things out, and like I say, he got a big future ahead.
Well, we look forward to seeing what that future holds, but congratulations to you on a good afternoon and, of course, the Gotham win.
Thank you, Cassia.
Greg?
So Chad Brown now with the top 2 points leaders on that Derby leaderboard, Paladin, and now this horse checks in at number 2 with those 50 points. Iron Honor.
That should hold up for another half hour or so until they run the Fountain of Youth. But listen, I mean, he's got the horse running the half to Sandman in next week's Tampa Bay Derby, and Chad Brown's got some very, very nice 3-year-olds right now. Not a bad spot to be in.
But in fairness, though, unfortunately on the Derby trails, horses don't always get to the starting gate, and sometimes 50 is a lot closer than you'd think it would be to getting in.
Usually is,
and
you're in.
You're just mad because of my 122 to 1. You
No,
want
very
a
happy
piece. You
for
want
you.
$1 of that. I know you do. The
for
most amazing thing about that was that Acacia was interviewing Manny while she's sitting 6 feet to our left. That to me was, I mean, Acacia's pretty incredible, but that might have been her greatest achievement ever.
She can do it all. She's
amazing.
actually going to take over on the desk.
She's like the Flash.
For not just me, but the 2 of us.
This is the greatest trade television has ever seen. 2 for 1.
I can't argue with that.
It's better than the Luca trade.
Acacia stepping on the desk after a short timeout out at Hot Springs. Grade 3 Razorback to come. Multiple graded stakes winner. Magnitude back for his 4-year-old return. He's got some company potentially in that race. New what's new. Interesting new shooter as we send it back to Oaklawn.
All right, guys. As you look at the winner of the 9th race just moments ago, and the guts displayed, Exo Sum able to hold off the favorite and register a second career win.
This is just a really nice effort, and it feels like this horse kind of finally put it all together with the addition of blinkers, was always in the bridle for Francisco Arrieta. And, when we talk about horses in the bridle, when a horse runs off the bridle or needs to be constantly reminded or asked for their best, it's really hard for a rider to judge how much horse they have underneath them. So the fact that this horse was all there for him, Francisco Arrieta could say, okay, I could sit a little longer, I could wait a little longer, I know I have horse. But then Top Level came calling after diving to the inside, angling in, rather abruptly in a little early trouble. A really nice effort by both the
Cassie
winner.
has to be pleased. Doesn't get the win, but has to be pleased.
Has to be very, very happy with that, for sure.
That was at Aqueduct. A reminder, Donegal Surges did win the 9th race. There it is, Exosum 1480 in the end. Francisco Arrieta, is he gonna just catch fire towards the middle half to the back end of the meet as he did a season ago?
Last year he got off to an extremely slow start, almost gave up. And his valet talked him into staying, hanging in there. This year, not a slow start, but not as fast as some of the others. And now he's really gaining traction.
3 wins thus far. Exosum in race number 9. Now the featured event, it is the Razorback. Another step towards Oaklawn's most prestigious race for older horses, the Oaklawn Handicap, and Magnitude. Finally, his 4-year-old debut. We thought we might see him in the Saudi Cup. He didn't make the trip to Riyadh. He had a temperature. He spiked a fever. In the end, maybe not the worst thing in the world, not having to tangle with the likes of Forever Young. So now his 4-year-old debut in the Razorback. Odds on, no surprise, Sandman, Arkansas Derby winner, second choice, 9-5.
I'm a little surprised that Sandman's that short. I mean, really,
he always gets bet.
He always does get bet, but he's never really run particularly fast. He's never cracked the triple-digit buyer speed figure scale. And I don't know that he's going to get the kind of speed that he got in the Arkansas Derby to set up. They went 45-1. That's incredibly too fast for the distance.
Table was set. He took advantage. What did you make of Sandman's first start this year?
I know a lot was made of the fact that he maybe wasn't in the most comfortable spot. He had kind of surrounded by horses. But I don't think he had as much run as people are giving him credit for. It wasn't like he was steadying in behind horses, desperately searching for room. He was being ridden, and he was a little one pace. Maybe that was more a function of the fact that he laid up closer to a slow pace.
Another look here, Richie. Jose Ortiz, red cap Sandman, looking for room to operate.
Yeah, but you see, listen, again, it's tight. He's all right, where am I going to go? But he's asking him. It's not like he's pulling on him. Mm-hmm. He's, pressing the button, and the horse is just kind of running evenly. Now, maybe he didn't like being in close like that.
Horses can get claustrophobic, right? Just not like operating in tight quarters?
Yeah.
Am I making excuses? Am I manufacturing reasons?
No, for me, I just don't think he had any trouble. I just don't think he had enough run to take advantage of, there was a famous saying, Eddie Arcaro rode a horse, and the trainer was, why didn't you go for that hole? And he said, well, I didn't want to leave the horse. The horse wasn't fast enough to catch the hole. I mean, so I feel like that was more a function of that. He needs pace. That's how he's effective. Just don't know that he is all that good.
Sandman, second choice here. And with Magnitude, what are you expecting from him? Don't hear what we're not saying. Nobody's comparing him to Gunrunner. But as we mentioned, the first 3-year-old, we had older horses in the Clarksons, Gunrunner, and the parallels as far as, the connections, of course, Team Gunrunner, Team Magnitude. Here's that win in the Clark from Magnitude. But it's a trend that we followed and a narrative that we followed with Steve Asmussen and how his horses get better with age. More racing, more training, they improve. When Gunrunner was running 3rd in the Kentucky Derby, 2nd in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, Asmussen was saying then, yeah, he's good now. Just wait to see what Gunrunner turns into. Just kept getting better. Part of the excitement surrounding Magnitude, who he'll be as a 4-year-old as he gets older.
Well, don't you think that's a testimony to his horsemanship? And obviously, that needs no introduction. The winningest trainer in the history of North American racing. Steve prepares his horses for what's right in front of them. And they're going to continue to get better. He's not looking for them to run their A-plus effort every time. He develops horses, and that's why you see a horse of his hit a form cycle, particularly as they're getting older, and they're able to hold it for long periods of time.
Maggie, you've seen him several times. Magnitude, what is he showing you today as he gets set for his first start in 2026?
Well, he's your typical magnitude. You know, a horse that early on in his career, it was perceived that he needed the lead to do his best running. But we've seen in his last 2 efforts, especially that Pennsylvania Derby, his final start, his second to last penultimate start as a 3-year-old, that he could close and be effective. He was a bit closer in the Clark victory, but he is on the muscle here. Now, we'll see. There's some other speed horses in here, so foreseeably he would have to rate a bit. He has settled since they've come over here to the infield, but physically, this guy looks incredible. He's dappled head to toe. He's rich. He's hydrated in his coat, and he looks strong. And he has grown a bit. You know, he was a little bit of that, you know, smaller, shorter coupled, just kind of very round horse. He's gotten a little bit more length in his frame, and just ultimately has become more athletic. As we'll take a look here at Sandman. Don't look to get back into that winner's circle. That is right behind us here in the Oaklawn infield. Now, he's one that has done some growing. Both of these horses, now seeing them as newly turned 4-year-olds, have done well. Sandman, he was a little bit of your typical gray Tappet. You know, he lacked a little bit of that conditioning, a little bit of that muscle mass behind the saddle. He's done well in that department. He's also, too, gotten a bit longer in his frame. He doesn't seem distracted today, which is a good thing. You know, we obviously know he's a bit of a playful type that maybe doesn't often put his best foot forward. It's typical of the bloodline. But we'll see. On paper, at least, Lafitte, it feels as though he's going to get some speed to run at today in this Razorback.
Sandman, Steve Asmussen, he does it all, doesn't he? As hands-on as they get for a trainer out there leading magnitude around. We're looking at Sandman. It's like, look, he's banked more than $1.5 million. He's a Grade 1 winner, the Arkansas Derby winner a season ago. But yeah, it does feel like we're at a crossroads with Sandman today.
I would agree with that. I don't know, and I'd be curious to get, you know, Maggie's take on this. He just doesn't look like he's changed to me. He looks like the same horse we saw last winter here. And as a 4-year-old, you would think he might have filled out a bit more. I just don't see that. And I'm not trying to be too hard on him. Like you said, he has banked $1.5 million. He's a Grade 1 winner. But I do think he needs a certain trip. And, yeah, there's speed in here, but I don't think you're going to see Arkansas Derby speed from last year.
Yeah, and this was the scene, last year's Arkansas Derby, that blistering, torrid, tepid, that nuclear supersonic pace, setting the table for Sandman here, already at the top of the stretch, pouncing on the leader.
Yeah, after the likes of Cornucopia went 45-1. That's sprint fast. That's not a 1 1/8 fast. That's 6 furlong fast. And he hits the front. Are you going to see him get to wandering a little bit, weaving a little through the stretch? Listen, he got it done. I think he was supposed to win the Arkansas Derby with the pace that he got. He's a nice horse. I just don't know that he's going to step up to the upper echelon of this 4-year-old and older horse division.
Richest maiden of all time, who you liked in the Arkansas Derby a little bit, chasing him there. Publisher finishing second at 50-1.
Who finally broke his
not
maiden.
a maiden any longer. Richest maiden all time.
That which is remarkable in itself. I tell you what, the way he broke his maiden finally, he looked good doing
Ultimate
it.
light bulb play. Switch thrown. Right back to Maggie.
Well, it's Meg, but joined, of course, by Griffin Johnson. So good to see you right back at Oaklawn after getting to know you some there with Ewing running. But this is your main boy. This guy, you've been with him from the beginning. It was really sweet. You shared that full photo. Just talk me through the journey that this horse has taken you on, now trying to make an impression at 4.
Yeah, it's hard to follow up the Arkansas Derby. And, I feel like a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I'm just having fun with it. I mean, I couldn't have wrote this up on a piece of paper any better, and, Sandman's been fantastic to me, so I'm hoping for a good run today. I hope he shows his talent and has a safe trip.
What have you gleaned from him just being around him as far as just from a mental perspective? Have you seen him mature a bit?
Yeah, I would say definitely from, the end of last year coming into this year, he's got a much better mind. After Kentucky Downs, we tread the turf, and, after that, he just needed some time, and seeing him come back this year, he's a little bigger, he's a little smarter, and really I just hope today he can show everyone.
I'll say this, you mentioned how lucky you are to be with the horse of this caliber, one of the first pieces of ownership you've ever had in this game. I asked you this last time out, but I'm going to ask it again. What has this journey and process of being a part of this kind of ownership group with these caliber horses taught you as a young owner in this game?
Yeah, you know, it started with West Point and A Stake in Stardom. They've been great to me, led me to Mark Cassey. Mark Cassey's taught me as much as I've asked him to. And, you know, I think for a young person in the sport, if you can get in, whether it's an eyelash like me or, you know, you can get the whole horse, just give it a shot. I mean, this game has completely changed my life, and I'm seriously indebted forever. So thank you.
Well, always classy and professional as usual. Thanks for the time, Griffin.
Appreciate you guys.
Lafitte?
Griffin Johnson has brought more eyeballs to the sport, eyeballs that otherwise may not have been on horse racing. His ride with Sandman, hoping to see Sandman return to the winner's circle at the site of his biggest victory. He'll be the last in the post parade as we meet the field for the Razorback, starting with Woodcourt, pictured at 34-1.
Nice, honest, hard-knocking horse that just might be in a little bit too tough here.
Long shot side by side. The gray here, Echo again. Trainer Norm Cassey looking for a second win on the afternoon.
Well, Norm Cassey's got a pedigree to be a trainer in the footsteps of his dad, Mark. And another really nice horse. I think it's a little too tough for him.
Arietta seeking a fourth. What's new? What's gotten into him?
Jimmy DeVito is one of the best horsemen that I've ever had the pleasure of witnessing. Nearly 1,300 wins, and he's just developing and getting better.
Magnitude, odds on.
He's an all horse. Look at him. You just take a look at him. He's the kind of, you know, like the guy that kicks sand on little guys like me at the beach, you know?
Gold here. And those Mystic Dan colors, 10-1. Then Sandman, enter Sandman. Second choice, 5-2.
Well, listen, if they do go very fast, you know, Sandman will be finishing, going in the right direction at the end. Kind of got it. He's got to show it to me, though. I want to see a breakout performance from him at some point, and I just haven't seen it to this point.
Field for the Razorback. Key stepping stone en route to the Oaklawn Handicap. Says a grade 3, $500,000 on the line, and grade 1 type of talent that we're dealing with in this Razorback that knew what's new is going to have to deal with in this Razorback. The acid test for him, but his last couple of starts, Richie, he has just run up the score.
Well, he beat Publisher, the maiden we were discussing, and then Publisher came back and won by about 7 or 8 lengths himself. Doesn't it feel like this horse was just crying out to go long on dirt? You know, he sprinted a bunch of times. He tried 2 turns on turf once. But when they got him to 2 turns here at Oaklawn Park, he's become a different animal. He was also, had been gelded previous to this. Jimmy DeVito finding a way to get the best out of him. What you got to like, Lafitte, he's got his legs up underneath him. He ran through the wire. It wasn't like just everybody else was slowing down. He kicked away from them.
Finishing with authority. Now, he was able to establish an easy, comfortable lead, create separation between himself and the competition in his last 2 races. How do things figure to stack up for him early on, getting out of the blocks for what's new in this Razorback?
Well, I think he's going to go to the front again, but Magnitude is going to be looming large. There's going to be a very large shadow right off of his hip. And now we're going to find out. We know that What's New has speed. We know he has ability. He can throw a punch. We're going to find out now if he can take a punch.
Right back to Megan.
Well, Magnitude is shown some moments of brilliance in his 3-year-old campaign as he is on the precipice of perhaps yet another brilliant year, as he showed last time a real dimension in that Clark, great ability, which was so key for this horse. It was almost like you as out this one-dimensional speed horse. That's not his gig. I find he's really matured. The last time I saw him was in Saratoga, and I think he's taken a step forward from that. I'm very excited to see this horse. It's almost eerily similar to the path that the Winchell owned Run Runner took. We'll see. He has a long way to go to get to that kind of resume. But Lafitte, I think that he is certainly primed to make the right kind of start.
Excited to see, Megan, what he does in his first start this season, Magnitude, and how he's developed and changed, as Megan and Maggie were discussing earlier, that he was a come and catch me if you can, take a deep breath, go as far as you can, as fast as you can kind of racehorse, crowd looking on, anticipating this exciting Razorback, whereas in the last couple of starts of his 3-year-old campaign, you saw a Magnitude who was more relaxed in the early stages of his races, of which he wasn't so one-dimensional, and he could beat you multiple ways.
But he still possesses that natural speed. So if they don't go quick, he can make the running. If they go quicker, now he's shown the ability to settle and finish. I thought the Pennsylvania Derby was his coming out.
It was
with
odd.
That.
On paper, he looked like the one to catch. This
Yep.
is the speed. Come and catch me. He was mid-pack, and you're thinking, all right, not his day for whatever reasons, and he finished a very solid second to a very good colt in Baeza.
And then that gave Jose Ortiz, who picked up the mount and the Clark, the confidence that, hey, okay, I don't need to go to the front. I can just sit wherever he's comfortable. And he beat Hit Show, who came back to win a pretty big race.
Dubai World Cup winner, Hit Show Magnitude for Steve Asmussen, odds-on favorite as we get closer to post time for the Razorback. Check in with Maggie, horseback.
Thanks, Lafitte. And we're going to take a look here at what's new. At least on paper, he looks to be the speed of the speed in here. Now, he has got an aggressive warm-up here from Rafael Bejarano, taken away from the pony. Now, he did wear earplugs in those prelims. I can't quite see, a dark horse with dark earplugs. You can't tell if they've been pulled out yet, but sometimes they do take those out prior to just before they go into the gate. They actually have been taken out. And he's responded beautifully. This is a real class test, though, but wow, physically, he looks more than ready to take on the challenge. Now, number 5, Magnitude, who still is your favorite in here, he's gotten awfully hot. Like I said, he is a high-energy horse, but nobody else has necessarily. We'll see if he's pumped up in the race, if that high energy before going into the gate spills over to race time. I just haven't seen him kind of go this far yet. As number 7, Sandman. Look, as Richie touched on, he's wondering what I was thinking. I said it in the paddock report that I thought he has changed from 3 to 4, and I appreciate it. And look, he's a horse that I don't necessarily want to like. He is a gray son of Tappet, and I just find that they can be so tricky, so quirky, not often being honest and putting their best foot forward. But here on race day, Lafitte, I do like what I'm seeing from him.
More focused Sandman as they approach the starting gate. Christian Torres aboard, circling back to what's new. Richie, for the uninitiated, a difference today as far as this Razorback in his last 2 wins when he raced on Lasix. Not allowed to race on Lasix today. How much of a factor?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, he's never competed without Lasix. 2-year-olds are not allowed to run on Lasix, and they're not allowed to use Lasix in stakes races. Well, he didn't start until he was 3, and this is his first stakes try. But it is something you've got to think about and look at. It is a permissive medication, and to me, it's more therapeutic
for the purpose of.
Well, if a horse, has a pulmonary hemorrhage, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've dug down so deep, so hard, and they'll have a tendency to what we term bleed internally.
Right.
The fact that he's never raced without it, we don't know how he's going to react. Some horses actually react positively to no Lasix.
But a big looming question mark.
It absolutely is a looming question mark. I think this horse has a great deal of ability. We're going to learn a lot more about him. And I'll elevate Sandman just because of Maggie's positive thoughts about him, especially if what's new hangs around and gives Magnitude a hard time.
That guy there had no idea that North America's all-time leading trainer was right over his shoulder, looking on.
Probably didn't care.
Steve Asmussen seeking a 3rd win in the Razorback. The last was Gun Runner. Magnitude, odds on 4 to 5. To Matt Dinterman with the call. Saturday feature, Oaklawn Park. Post time for the Razorback.
We're ready to go. And we're off in the Razorback handicap. Magnitude, the favorite, broke right on cue. Knew what's new being asked for speed. Woodcourt's going to take a hold. He has no intention of going to the front today. Knew what's new. He's on the lead. Magnitude second. Woodcourt in a tight spot. Has to tap on the brakes when keen. He's wrangled back to 3rd early. Echo again. Gould's Gold and Sandman, the 3 grays, 4th, 5th, and 6th respectively. Echo again. He wants to go. He's on a stranglehold behind a wall of horses here. Nowhere to go for Echo again, who is rank approaching the backstretch run. Knew what's new coming off of 2 big efforts against Maidens and and allowance horses. He's facing Stakes Company for the first time today. He's on top of half length from the Grade 2 winner, Magnitude, perched on the outside right there, pressing. Gap of 2, Echo again, Woodcourt more settled down on the rail. Then comes Sandman deep on the course. Gould's Gold shoved upon as they approach the half-mile pole. New, what's new? The second choice in the wagering. Half length in front. He's got Magnitude still outside of him, a half length back. Woodcourt remains on the rail. Echo again right behind him. Gould's Gold sent along. Sandman dropping to the back under some pressure as they round the far turn. New, what's new? Here's Magnitude alongside. Jose Ortiz hasn't asked for his best yet. New, what's new? Shaken up by Bejarano. Magnitude right there to the outside. And these two are hooking up as they hit the quarter pole. Gould's Gold 2 lengths behind under a ride. They're at the top of this stretch. Magnitude on the outside. New, what's new on the inside. Magnitude confidently handled. The reins get shaken at him. Narrowly ahead. New, what's new? Trying to keep pace, but Magnitude is too classy. He extends stride, opens up. Magnitude by 2, hitting the 16th pole. Now it's 2.5. It's a 2026 debut victory for Magnitude. It's off to Dubai. Magnitude, a 3-length winner of the Razorback Handicap. New, what's new second. Gould's Gold third. Then Echo again. Woodcourt and Sandman.
3-time Razorback winning trainer Steve Asmussen. Magnitude, Jose Ortiz knew he had new what's new whenever he wanted. Peeked over his right shoulder, gave Magnitude his cue. Magnitude ran away and hid. Still room for improvement, winning, making mistakes, though, in the process.
Yeah, he jumped back to his left lead again inside the 8th pole, much like he did at Churchill Downs in the Clark. I got to tell you, Lafitte, I'm impressed. I know he wasn't honed to be at his best today. This was a stepping off point. He ran extremely well against a very good horse in New What's New, who I think showed that he belongs in this older handicap division. He was game. He was second best. But Magnitude was very, very good. And once again, Sandman did not beat a horse.
Flat effort, Sandman. Steve Asmussen, just another day at the office. All-time leading trainer, Oaklawn Park, North America's all-time leading trainer. Magnitude there with Jose Ortiz. And just to put a finer point on Magnitude and taking another look at the Razorback in the stretch, you heard Matt Dinneman reference next the Dubai World Cup. Heard from Megan earlier, who was in the Asmussen barn and talking about the plans as Magnitude puts away new what's new here, strikes the front and goes on to an impressive victory. The plan of running well here if he did on the Dubai World Cup. Look, it's about as far as anything from priority, given what's happening in the world outside horse racing, the conflict in the Mideast, all coming to a head as of last night. We're not going to have a geopolitical conversation about it, Richie. All that matters is that the men and women who serve and defend the country stay safe and that this ends soon. Will the Dubai World Cup be impacted? We have absolutely no idea. It's not a priority. What we do know is that Magnitude comes back. He wins the Razorback. We'll see what is next for him. In the moment, they are going to enjoy this victory in the $500,000 Razorback. And winning jockey Jose Ortiz, as you can see, is with Maggie.
Back-to-back wins for Jose and Magnitude here, Lafitte. And taking down older horses when we last saw him as a late 3-year-old, but he comes back and wins first off the little bit of a break, Jose, as a 4-year-old. How good is he getting?
Getting really good since last year in the Clark. He started develop mentally that he can rate a little bit, and I think that's a huge advantage for us. You see him today, he rate beautifully, and when I asked him, he was ready. He was there for me.
He really has developed well. It's kind of a typical Steve type of move to have a good 3-year-old, but get them even better as older horses.
Yeah, Steve is a Hall of Famer. He's been doing this for a long time, and he surely knows how to get a horse ready and how to develop a good one. And this is a great horse.
Not to get it too ahead of ourselves, but on the Rebel tomorrow, you're a board soldier and diplomat, second in the Southwest last time out. What do we think about his chances?
I think he ran very good last time. He ran great. The winner flew late, but we're very happy with him. He's been working great, so I think we got a huge shot tomorrow, so hopefully we get it too.
Jose, congratulations here.
Thank you, Maggie.
Jose, Steve Asmussen, they're the dream team. Lafitte?
World-class connections. Maggie, Winchell Thoroughbred, Steve Asmussen, Jose Ortiz right here. Knows he has the leader, knew what's new. Moments before he took that peek over his right shoulder, nobody's coming. asked Magnitude the question. Magnitude had the right answer.
Yeah, and you see jump back to his left lead. He will get back onto his right lead a little bit further on. Almost like, you know, where is everybody? I did my job. I'm in front. You know, kind of lose just a touch of focus potentially. But this is what you want out of a prep. You don't want to get to the bottom of one. You want to win. It's an important race in its own right. So they got the win, and they got enough out of this race to move him forward, propel him into even tougher company.
Steve and wife Julie going to enjoy this one. Magnitude. Successful return to the races. Razorback winner in his 4-year-old debut. Jose Ortiz could be the start of a big weekend. Locked and loaded for tomorrow's Rebel. All smiles now. They'll enjoy this one. A Razorback win. Magnitude is a favorite delivers.
$1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
She's so spicy. She won it by 4 lengths on the wire. Side by side and stride for stride. Who's it going to be? My Soldier Citizen Bull. Here has it close to home from Brussels. Sightmares, the Breeders' Cup winner. Van Tornado and Iran Ortiz have won the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Crowd still buzzing after that performance by Magnitude in the Razorback. Welcome back. America's Day at the Races. Brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. In those Winchell Thoroughbred colors, there's Ron Winchell. Right next to Steve Asmussen, Jose Ortiz, Magnitude. Just excited to see what he accomplishes this 2026 season.
I was very, very impressed. Really like what I saw from him, you know, in the Clark, and then obviously a little hiccup getting here. Been training well at Fairgrounds with Scott Blasi, Steve's main assistant there in New Orleans, and this was a terrific comeback effort. I'm really excited to see what he does going forward.
Solid effort, knew what's new, who had Magnitude draped all over him, and still, you know, good enough to dig in and finish second.
Yeah, I think the connection's got to be very happy with that effort from New What's New. He was just second best to a horse that I think is going to have a big say in the best of the older horses this year. Magnitude is so beautifully conformed. He's by not this time. He's as hot a sire as there is out there. I mean, he's up in that into mischief level, right? You know, they do anything. They sprint, they go long, they go short, they turf, they dirt. And this horse is as well conformed as you're ever going to see a horse. I mean, he is beautiful.
Magnitude owned by Ron Winchell with Megan.
Well, what a tour that Gunrunner took you on in this exact same spot in the Razorback. But now let's stay where our feet are, of course, with Magnitude. But just eerily similar paths. But right now, what has this horse been able to show you in this moment today?
Well, I think we were super excited to be, starting his campaign this year, and we were planning to go to Saudi. That didn't happen because he came down with a temperature, and so we kind of follow on the Gunrunner path. We thought this is the greatest way to do that, and go to Dubai from here. And You know, he obviously showed up today like we thought he would. He's been training beyond belief, and we're just going to move forward now.
Well, what has Steve, and you obviously are very hands-on and collaborative in your efforts with Steve, but what has he really given you as far as that step from 3 to 4, culminating, of course, in that Clark win?
Oh, I think, you know, it does mimic the gun runner where all of a sudden he looks like he's jumped up and he's elite. And I think that's where we're at today, and we just hope to finish it off. If we can copy the rest of Gun Runner's career, it'd be awesome.
Exactly right. A Hall of Fame Horse of the Year gun runner, but magnitude, carving his own path. Ron, great to see you, and congratulations here.
Thank you.
Lafitte?
Lots to be excited about, Megan. Ron Winchell, owner of Magnitude. It was amazing because you had Gun Runner as a 3-year-old running third behind American Pharoah in the Kentucky Derby, and I believe second in the Pennsylvania Derby, second in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. That takes a really good horse. And Steve Asmussen could just wait to see who Gun Runner is as an older horse, and he was that much better.
Well, that's why he says great a horseman as he is, and the whole family, the Asmussen family, what they've done in racing from, his parents, Keith and Marilyn, his brother Cash, and now what he's doing, having insight into horses, being able to look at a horse, what they are now, but appreciate what they're going to develop into. And I don't know that there's many better than developing a horse for an elongated period of time than Steve Asmussen.
Razorback in the books. The favorite delivers in Magnitude. One race left, the 11th race coming up to close out the Saturday program on this eve of the Rebel Stakes. Take a look at the field. These Arkansas breds, $25,000 restricted claimers, 6 furlong sprint, 11 strong, wide open. Could a Cutie, the 3-1 favorite with about 18 minutes to post. When we come back, look ahead to tomorrow's Rebel Stakes with a $1 million purse, and no trainer has been more successful in this event than Bob Baffert, 8-time winner. That's a record, seeking a 9th tomorrow with Litmus Test in from California. Los Alamitos Derby winner, what will he do in the $1 million Rebel Stakes? Winding down America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. And I still managed to get to the set like 10 minutes before air. When that's the long, long journey from your room, down the elevator, food court, through the casino, and voila, doors part, and you are in the Oaklawn paddock.
You were early today. we all bet on set here the over-under when you were going to show.
Whatever's closest to post time, to show time, whatever's closest to that, that's where your money needs to
well,
be.
Well, listen, you're prepared. You show up. You don't need to, be out here melting in the 80-degree weather. New York.
Brutal window there. Beautiful here today. And for Bob Baffert, it's been beautiful at Oaklawn Park for many, many years. In several of the Kentucky Derby prep races, he holds the records for most wins, included 8 of them. 8 wins in the Rebel Stakes for Bob Baffert, going back to Looking at Lucky, an eventual Preakness winner in 2010. The Factor turned out to be a better sprinter. Secret Circle turned out to be a better sprinter. In fact, a Breeders' Cup sprint winner. Opportunity went on to earn a lot of money, had a long career. All started for American Pharoah. 3-year-old debut right here in the Rebel Stakes. We know how that story ended. First Triple Crown winner in 37 years. Cupid the Grey and Nadal in 2020. Can Baffert knock down a 9th? Oh, yeah, let's not forget about Concert Tour. He has Litmus Test tomorrow afternoon in the Rebel Stakes. Another look at the field, $1 million purse. 3rd straight Derby prep at Oaklawn, run at this mile and a 16th distance. Bravaro is out, ran in the Fountain of Youth. 9 strong, blackout time. Morning line favorite at 8-5. Acacia and Jonathan are with us. Guys, this Derby picture starting to come into focus, a little more clear. Had the Gotham today and tomorrow, a very highly, highly anticipated edition of the $1 Million Rebel Stakes.
It's that time of year, Lafitte. It's easy to get excited, and they don't call it Derby Dreamin' for nothing. But this is where it all begins with these kinds of prep races, JK. You can't win the Kentucky Derby if you can't get in the starting gate. And the Rebel coming up tomorrow on Sunday. Grade 2, mile and a 16th, and we'll get a chance to get a look at the field and meet them all here, starting off with Litmus Test. Just as you heard from Lafitte, Bob Baffert definitely knows how to win this race.
His last 2 races are very, very fast. The problem I see with Litmus Test is anytime Bob Baffert chips in, the locals go crazy betting his horses. Litmus Test likely to be overbet.
Off a little bit slow last time out. We'll see how he gets out of the gate. There's class president for Todd Pletcher stretching out.
Yeah, stretching out, but he does have the race around going a mile that where he won. So I guess that there's got that going for him, but he does have to handle the 2 turns here.
Were you class president?
I was the furthest possible thing you could be from class president.
Let's see if he is president of his class moving forward tomorrow. Blackout Time makes his first start of his 3-year-old season.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to take some money, too. He was a real buzzy horse Breeders' Cup week. A lot of people, I think, thought he was probably the most likely alternative to Ted Noffey throughout the week until he had to scratch out of the race. So I'd imagine he's going to come back with some fanfare as well.
Shipped to Del Mar, scratched that week. Sent to the sidelines, been working both at Fairgrounds and Oaklawn Park for the return. Another from the McPeak barn. Here's Honey's to Blame.
Yeah, an Arkansas bred is going to look around and see a few very, very expensive horses surrounding that one, probably a little bit over his head.
Strategic Risk was the horse that took a bit more money in the Southwest last time out, but unfortunately a disappointing effort.
Yeah, I'm probably supposed to keep my pick for tomorrow, but if you're watching today, I wanted to reward you with I love Strategic Risk. Based on the 2 and 3 races back, I think the last race you could just draw a line through. He ran 2 good races. I'm hoping he'll run another one here.
Here's the one that did win the Southwest, Silent Tactic. It came running late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with this horse necessarily. He did get the job done. He's run well over the racetrack, but I probably would want a little bit better of a price.
Has been consistent thus far after starting his career off on synthetic. There's Rancho Santa Fe for Brad Cox, looking to try to make amends after a 4th in the Southwest.
Yeah, I don't think Brad Cox has even gotten his picture taken down at Gulfstream for his win with Commandment down there. He's got another one. These big trainers have lots of horses. Rancho Santa Fe probably needs to get a bit faster, but certainly deserves to be in this race.
Long shot for Steve Asmussen. You don't often see 30-1 morning line for this barn. Here's Time for Music.
Yeah, this time might not be as good as Magnitude, but there's some back races. He would need a lot of things to go his way and to take a step forward.
From the same barn, there's Soldier and Diplomat, second behind Silent Tactic in the Southwest last time.
It's all the same. St. Elias Stables, the winner of the Gotham here. A lot of these trainers, owners, they got lots of different horses. This one's drawn well with some tactical speed, and that trip works very, very well at Oaklawn Park.
Took some buzz as a short price favorite when he won on debut at Saratoga back as a 2-year-old. Will be interesting to see what happens with the 3-year-olds tomorrow in the Rebel. But first, we have horses in the paddock for the nightcap coming up at Oaklawn Park. Final race of the day, Arkansas breds sprinting. Race 11 coming up. We'll hear from the crew over at Oaklawn after this.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com. Get ready for the biggest races from the Sunshine State. Join NYRA Bets handicapper Matthew DeSantis and NYRA analyst Acacia Clement for Snowbirds. Picks and valuable insight for upcoming warm weather stakes races. That and more on the NYRA Bets YouTube channel.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
One left. Saturday program. Oaklawn Park on this eve of the Rebel Stakes. Welcome back, America's Day at the Races. As you can see, field ready to make that turn. You'll meet the field in this post parade. Arkansas breds, fillies and mares, sprinting 6 furlongs. You like the first filly we'll look at, JJ's True Bet, Richie. You're getting 9-2.
Loved her lone sprint on the dirt try when she broke her maiden, stretched out to a mile. I love her turning back in distance.
Christian Torres aboard. Just rode Sandman in the Razorback. Back to the lab with Sandman, last year's Arkansas Derby winner, 0 for 2 as a 4-year-old. Another look here at JJ's True Bet. Torres, what do you expect him to do early on with her?
Well, I think the mile race might just dull her speed a touch, which I think will be a good thing. I'd love to see her rate just behind the speed.
Queen Mallard, number 2, a defeated favorite at the level in her latest.
She is speedy, and she has one way to go. The rider doesn't ask her. She takes them. She's quick. I would hate to see the one getting a speed duel with her, but I think he could kind of follow in her wake.
Plinko Chip, the Price is Right reference, yes?
Well, 17-1. The Price is Right. I don't know if she's quite
well done.
Good enough to compete here.
Gently, lightly raced 5-year-old mare.
Yeah, lightly raced. Nice effort at Delta Downs. Interestingly enough, her 2 starts against Arkansas breds, not as good.
Feeling Addie, looking for back-to-back wins.
Yeah, and also turning back in distance after gutting it out, going a mile. She's a player.
Principal Anita, long shot, 14th start lifetime at Oaklawn.
Yeah, it just feels like she's going to have to run a little faster than what we've seen to be competitive here.
Lady Astrid would be a surprise.
Another one I kind of feel the same way about, but she does have a race under her belt at layoff.
Music Mistress, first or second in 7 of 16 at Oaklawn Park.
And just getting some class relief here. She's in for the $25,000 tag and, kind of runs consistent, same kind of races.
Lukewarm favorite, Coulda Cutie.
Yeah. kind of almost a little surprised, but she's lightly raced, and her one start on dirt was very good before trying synthetic at Presque Isle.
Wildwood Queen, Walter Dela Cruz, already one win this afternoon. Sisters in town to round out the field.
Another one that's lightly raced, Broker Maiden on debut, came back in open company, not against Arkansas Breds, and that race left a little bit to be desired.
That's the field for the 11th and final on this Saturday at Oaklawn Park. 5 minutes to post. Eve of the Rebel Stakes. We'll be right back with the nightcap in Hot Springs. And final, Oaklawn Park, America's Day at the Races. Arkansas Breds to close out the program. Competitive heat, 11 strong, 6 furlong sprint, Megan. Number 9, Coulda Cutie. You're leaning towards her, hasn't raced since September. You're no concerns for any rust on your behalf.
I'm not. Well, this is racing and anything can happen. This filly looks absolutely fantastic. She's just so well put together. She's so strong. She certainly looks like a sprinter. I'm very much willing to forgive that no-show, you could say, on the synthetic last time out. But, man, she just looks fast. I kind of talked around different connections forming this race, and she was certainly one that others were interested in at that OBS March 25 sale, where she went for $180,000 off of just that $4,000 stud fee. Aurelius Maximus, or Dam, was a Texas-bred stakes place dam, and she just looks absolutely fantastic. She blitzed that 45-2 that clearly pops off the page, and she looks fit and ready for the task. And while you could say sometimes it might seem a little hesitant when you see those really fast works, but to me it gives me a good sign. She'll show that speed as she did on debut. And Maggie, I think we're kind of thinking along the same lines here with the number 9, Coulda Cutie.
Yeah, speed can be lethal, Meg, as we know in racing, especially in dirt sprints. And like you said, she has been training with a purpose down there at Fairgrounds. I did notice one kind of extreme equipment. I don't know if it's a change or what she normally runs in, but she does run in that cage bit, but also she has a burr on her right side. So a lot of times when horses are so fast, that centrifugal motion will make them want to lean out a bit. And I'm guessing she has the propensity to do so. Moving on to another lightly raced individual that doesn't look quite as fast as her, but that's number 11, Sisters in Town. You know, she won first time out. She kind of bounced out of the gate in that maiden 50 for Archie Breds, but then there was a loose horse who rushed up on her inside, so she kind of got engaged a bit, and then the rider realized, oh, that's a loose horse. Took a hold of her, she settled back, she got past and was down a length on the inside and battled back to get the win. Now, last time out, it was a little bit of a disappointing effort facing winners for the first time, but also against open company, and she was part of a pretty fast pace that, albeit, did hold together. She's caught my eye in the paddock, and again, a long shot that I thought might be able to get a piece here. She'll have to likely sit off of it, though, from that outside post. Moving on to horses who have a little bit more experience, including number 3, Plinko Chip. I know she's a big long shot up there at 27-1. She, however, exits a pretty tough race, albeit back in August at Delaware. The winner came back and ran an 89. The second place finisher, Green Eyed Monster, came back and ran an 87. Now, she didn't do much running, but she did kind of get shut off trying to go up the rail entering the turn that day. She made an excellent impression in the paddock and on the track. As we'll also take a look at number 5, Appealing Addie. She was determined to get the win when going a mile coming in off the bench. She has been so well composed, so nicely on the bridle throughout. Now we'll see how she negotiates this turn back in distance, but physically I don't see where it would prohibit her from responding well to a sprint. And Lafitte, a lot of times they have that kind of conditioning built in. They have, you know, that stamina from turning back or from participating in that route race and turning back. They come with a pretty big finish.
She's ready to rock and roll. See how she performs off the cut back in distance Appealing Addie. Final thoughts, Richie?
I landed on JJ's Trubet, the one, because she had one turf try. Not a bad effort. One sprinting on dirt, then she stretched out. I feel like her form's a little dirtied up. I like her getting back to sprinting.
Price is still right on Plinko Chip, outsider 28-1. One final time, Matt Dinnerman with the call. The nightcap from Oaklawn.
Sisters in Town, 20-1 on the board. We'll see you tomorrow for Rebel Day, first post, noon at Central. 12 races on the docket for now. Enjoy the nightcap. Good luck. We're ready to go. And they're off. In the finale, Appealing Addie took up a couple strides out of the gate. Cut a Cutie, very speedy, leads the way with JJ's True Bet. Queen Mallard between horses now. JJ True Bet strides clear length from Queen Mallard. Cut a Cutie. They're second and third together. There's a gap of 4 to Plinko Chip and Gently. Sisters in Town off the pace. 7 from the top with Appealing Addie, who joins her. 3 more back to Music Mistress, Principal Anita in a strung out group. Wildwood Queen, Lady Astrid at the tail together. They're roaring on the lead. 21-4 that first quarter mile. And now JJ's True Bet has company. Queen Mallard, Cut a Cutie in the 3 path, sticks a neck in front. Queen Mallard trying to move with her. JJ's True Bet retreats to third. She's calling it an afternoon, it appears. There's a gap of 4 to Gently. Appealing Addie's getting underway. 7 from the lead. They're off the turn. Cut a Cutie leads the way with Queen Mallard. Appealing Addie continuing to make up ground on the outside. Has gotten a good setup off the fast pace. Here she comes. Appealing Addie trying to catch Cut a Cutie, who's run a good race today after going fast early. Appealing Addie trying to run by her. Here she comes. Takes the lead with a 16th to go. Appealing Addie, Rafael Bejarano drawing clear for a 9-2 score in the nightcap on Rebel Eve. Cut a Cutie second. Third home Music Mistress. And Principal Anita, 72-1, rounds out the superfecta.
Had a little bit left when she needed it most. That route to sprint, Maggie touched on. Appealing Addie wearing down Cut a Cutie in the 11th and final at Oaklawn Park.
Well, the table was set when there was just an absolute cutthroat speed duel on. The one, JJ's True Bet, went from the rail. Queen Mallard always shows high speed. Cut a Cutie coming off of that 45-2 gate work. before this was the last lady standing. She put the other speeds away, but here came Appealing Addie with the foundation on the turn back, got the fast pace, and gets it done. She's in good form, and a really nice ride from Rafael Bejarano. You see him going to a left-handed crop. Nice to see that, but Appealing Addie got the setup.
From the drone, and you can see Appealing Addie just reeling her in. Coulda Cutie doing everything she possibly can, but not able to repel. Appealing Addie, 2 wins on the afternoon. Rafael Bejarano, 5-9-8-6. Amazing, what a different perspective. The feel of watching the race from that particular angle. I don't feel like I've watched a Kentucky Derby until I actually see the drone. There's just so much more that you pick up on as far as what took place in the course of the race from that particular angle.
Well, it gives you a different depth of the race. You can really see how much room a horse does or doesn't have. You know, when horses are surrounded by other horses, you go, oh, he's in tight. But then you watch a drone, and it's, well, he actually had more room than I thought. And you can really see when a horse levels off and is getting away from a field. I mean, it kind of gets me a little, juiced, because it brings you into the race.
Would
more.
it have helped you as a tool for preparation and your homework?
Absolutely. To be able to see things like, what you might perceive and, from a pan shot, you're going to see completely different from that overhead shot.
There you saw Appealing Addie going on to victory in the 11th and final. We'll have the results and winding down this Saturday evening at Oaklawn Park. Tomorrow, the Rebel, all about 3-year-olds. The nightcap, all about Appealing Addie in the 11th. Stay tuned.
And Adair Manor will take the Clementel Hirsch.
Archangelo, the Belmont winner in charge. The Grade 1 Whitney to Arthur's ride.
Olympiad gets the gold.
Tap it twice. Tap it twice.
It is Timberlake who's going to win.
She's so speedy in that sprint. Sierra Leone in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them. Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Winding down at Oaklawn Park. 11th race in the books. Appealing Addie moments ago. 11:60 for the W. And Rafael Bejarano's second win of the afternoon, entering the winner's circle, trained by Randy Morse, owned by Randy Patterson.
Really nice effort here on the turnback by Appealing Addie. Very game effort by the 9 Cuda Cutie, who was part of that cutthroat duel and outlasted the speeds, but was ripe to be picked off by a filly that had more foundation coming out of a mile race and got that nice inside-out trip. I love the way Rafael Bejarano kind of tipped her out right off the elbow into the clear. And she's one of those horses that runs with her head
Look
out,
at her head, yeah.
down, right? Really attacking the
Reaching.
ground. Reaching for ground. It's just a really nice effort by both the winner and the runner-up. The runner-up, Cuda Cutie, probably a little bit unlucky. She really, compromised by that fast pace.
Winning with something left, Appealing Addie, 11:60 over Cuda Cutie. Music Mistress, 5-9-8 in the 11th and final at Oaklawn Park. Cross country pick 5. Had 3 winners that paid less than $5, including Magnitude. Iron Honor in the Gotham is $786 and change. It's today's cross-country Pick 5.
Hard enough to
pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's hard enough to pick a winner in one jurisdiction, let alone spread it out all over the country. But
that'll work.
Yeah, I get it done.
That will work. Tomorrow, the sequence will include the Honeybee and the Rebel Stakes on this weekend, of which we were starting to get a much better feel and the picture clearing up as we march towards the Kentucky Derby, the Fountain of Youth earlier today, Gulfstream Park, and we'll recap the Gotham in New York. Next step towards the Wood Memorial, 50 points to the winner. Iron Honor delivers 2 for 2 now, taking down this last Gotham at Aqueduct. In case you missed it, we'll recap on America's Day at the Races. A big afternoon for Manny Franco.
Kimura Bino Amoide.
Kimura?
Kimura Bino
Bino.
Amoide.
Amoide. Evan is awful at telephone.
There's nothing like being there at the race and having the horses go by and your horse is at the front of the pack. Nothing better.
We provide an inside look at the game. If people were to do this on their own, it would take years to develop the kind of relationships that we have with Hall of Fame trainers and horsemen. Here, you get to cut the line, so to speak, and you are in the thick of it at the highest levels of the game, and that's something that we really want for our partners. We want them to be dealing with high-class horses, have the chance to run in really big races, and we take care of the rest.
I look at spreading our placement of horse equine purchases as just a wise investment. They don't all work, but you're going to have ones that work because of the caliber of people at West Point that go through the horse selection vetting process. It's very thorough, super impressive.
Everybody here at West Point strives to provide a really comprehensive educational experience. We want you to be behind the velvet rope. Our partners get to know the trainers, the jockeys, obviously the horses. This is a real immersive experience to really get your feet wet and just feel like you're part of the action at the very front row.
I think it starts with the top, Terry and Debbie, ethics, this industry, having the right leader sets a tone for an organization. and they bring all that in every interaction, as does the entire West Point team.
You know, there aren't that many investments where you feel like part of a team, part of a family, but that's really true here, and that's what makes West Point Thoroughbreds so special.
It's a little bit dark here at Aqueduct, but don't worry. Jonathan and I are holding down the fort here at America's Day at the races. It's been a great day of racing. Of course, we have a lot to look forward to tomorrow, especially at Oaklawn with the Rebel. But as far as that 3-year-old picture is concerned, we did get a chance to see a horse remain unbeaten in the Gotham today with Iron Honor getting the win. Buyer speed figure came back a 90, according to David Aragona on social media. So he did technically regress, as now the top 3 finishers out of that race have, but still quite good enough to get the win here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not as fast as his one turn, I mean his sprint, excuse me, not his one turn, his sprint race. However, it's going in the right direction. You typically need a triple-digit buyer to win the Derby, so he's going in the right direction. Maybe he's going to appreciate more ground. Based on what Chad Brown had said about him, more ground probably isn't going to be a problem for him. So maybe the 1 1/8 race moves him even further, and then if the Derby moves him further even more, he could be right there in the mix. So if I own this horse, if I train this horse, if I rode this horse, I'd be excited about what happened today.
Absolutely, as you should be this time of year. We'll see what the next step for him would be. 2-turn 1 1/8 Wood Memorial, first week of April here at Aqueduct, continuing on at that New York road to the Derby, but the Gotham in the books. Iron Honor getting the win. 3-win day as well for Manny Franco, who I thought did everything right with Iron Honor. Over in Florida at Gulfstream Park, the Fountain of Youth took place today. Commandment, kind of the horse, I would say, on paper going into it. He came up the rail. Chief Wallaby, though, in just his second start, did finish second, but a horse to watch moving forward for Bill Mott.
No, for certain. You know, a horse that should, potentially appreciate more ground the way that he ran here. But yeah, Commandment was the favorite in here, and when the 10 came off the rail, the 4 slipped right up underneath it, and that might have been the difference. You see here, it's a diminishing head, while Chief Wallaby was 3 or 4 wide, and Commandment was saving all that ground up the inside.
Commandment gets the win in the Fountain of Youth. Now makes it 3 in a row for Brad Cox, as a big step forward for him getting that victory. Irad Ortiz in the saddles. We take a look at the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. Paladin still in at the top spot, pointing towards the bluegrass for Chad Brown. Iron Honor now with those 50 points. Commandment picking up 50 points. There's still a lot more to go before we get to the Kentucky Derby starting gate, though.
I gotta tell you, when I look at this, I'm a little underwhelmed. I wish the leaderboard meant a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, because Paladin being first and Silent Tactic being 7th, I mean, it doesn't... It's just trying to get in the gate. I think that it would be really cool, and this is not scripted, but I think what would be really cool is that if the leader got to pick their post position.
I have heard some trainers, I think it was Mark Cassie actually that brought that up, it was last year, a couple years ago, because when you win those prep races and you get those points to get into the gate, by the time you get there, you still have a 1 in 20 chance of getting the post position that you want, and I mean, that's going to be, like, in all likelihood, the biggest field that you're ever going to run in.
It doesn't seem fair to me that the horse who accomplishes the most on the Triple Crown Trail can accidentally draw horribly.
Right.
While some horse who just kind of slides in because of defections draws beautifully.
Sure.
It makes looking at that a little bit more interesting, a little bit more intriguing.
It's one of those things. That's why it is such a tough thing to grasp, the Kentucky Derby, Lafitte. But we still don't know who's going to line up in that starting gate. We'll learn a little bit more about how that field might look, perhaps tomorrow in the Rebel.
Massive weekend on this long, winding road to the Kentucky Derby. Quickly, Richie, your thoughts on the Gotham and Iron Honor. The win, 2 for 2, 50 points towards the Kentucky Derby. What does he strike you as in terms as a racehorse? What is he going to thrive doing in the future?
Well, it's really hard to assess that at this point. I mean, he's 2 for 2. He went from 6 furlongs against maidens and got a very fast figure to a mile against in a graded stakes, and he got it done again. He does have speed. He lays up close. His sire, Kentucky Derby winner himself, right, Nyquist.
Yep.
What you have to take away from those, he took that next step against more seasoned foes. It's not an easy thing to do. So I think it's very, very kind of exciting for his connections that he can take even another step.
And I like this change to the Oaklawn schedule, a Rebel Stakes on a Sunday, and kind of spread them out a little bit. Here is the field, a third straight race Derby prep here at Oaklawn Park, run at this mile and a 16th distance. Brevaro outran today in the Fountain of Youth, 9 of them. Blackout time, 8-5 morning line favorite. Brian Hernandez, Kenny McPeak, they know how to get it done on a Derby stage. Richie, the first 2 Derby preps here at Oaklawn Park. Strategic Risk, slow pace, forwardly placed, wins a Smarty Jones. Stablemate, Silent Tactic, fast paced, closes and makes up a lot of ground late to win the Southwest. On paper, how does the race shape figure to impact the outcome of tomorrow's Rebel Stakes?
Well, I don't think we're going to have a slow pace here. You got litmus tests coming off of a layoff. Horses off the layoffs are fresh. They want to do more, and he's a horse that has some natural speed anyway. Blackout time, coming off a layup. He's going to be fresh. I think he'll be forward. Strategic Risk, he wants to be forward. That's how he'll be most effective. Soldier and Diplomat feels like they're trying to teach him to rate. I think they have concerns about how far he really wants to go. So I think he even though he has natural speed, he'll be tucked in behind them.
It's $1 million race, but still a prep race at this stage, like in February. As a rider, what are you looking for from a 3-year-old to prove to you, okay, even if we don't win, but this horse might be cut out to be a Derby type?
I want a horse that's finishing. I want to know he has stamina. That's number one.
Can't wait. Tomorrow on a Sunday, Rebel Stakes with $1 million purse. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon/evening on America's Day at the Races. And Stymie, only 3 horses, still an exciting finish. The Japanese-bred Kamore Bino Amoide, not as good as Acacia, but we got through it. How about that Gotham? Iron Honor, 2 for 2. Chad Brown, Big Afternoon, Manny Franco, 3 wins. And here at Oaklawn Park, welcome back. Magnitude takes down the $500,000 Razorback. Onward and upward. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everyone.
Anybody else want $650,000 bid today? $1,650,000 $1,600,000. Thank you.
She's so spicy. She won it by 4 lengths on the wire. Side by side and stride for stride. Who's it going to be? My Soldier, Citizen Bull. Fair has it close to home from Brussels. Cybears, the Breeders' Cup winner. Van Tornado and Gerard Ortiz have won the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Some horses are remembered, other horses are passed down like an heirloom. He's the kind of horse that lives in stories, each better than the one before, hardened like a diamond and equally brilliant. He ran 3 straight years at the highest level, and he himself was elite.
Putting on a show in the Preakness. Who's it going to be? It's going to be National Treasure.
National Treasure would not be denied. National Treasure wins the Pegasus World Cup. In the blink of an eye has opened up a 5-length advantage. It's a 1-horse race. National Treasure.
There's a brilliance in the way he moved and a tenacity in how he finished. By quality road with a wealth of family, and he raced like he knew it. National Treasure, the key to quality.
The menu will be first.